Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Moran and I'm here with Andrew Velez and Joel Dehls, and this is now episode 180. In this episode, we are going to rank week 1 games we're most looking forward to, reacting to Joel's top quarterback list, top 5 quarterbacks under the most pressure, and predicting records for each AFC West team. A quick Patreon shout out to Cole Larson, Zach Wilson, Alexander, Nazir, Dwayne, Riv Smells Like Deer Ankles, Scary Terry, Icon No Cap Anthony, Caleb, Travis, Drews the Goat, Holmes, Nairi, your boy Nick, Pim Chimpin, Jake the Snake, Corrupt, G Boog, Kobe, Dylan, Afosa, Mason, Rivs Hair, Mad Sexy, Gentile Drew, Cade MVP, Mark, SP Vorzy Shot, Jordan Watt, Evan, Dylan, Joel is the GOAT, Mayo, Andre, Peter, Daniel, Ben, Ruthless Rootster, Kill Moves, Joel B, SA Crimes, Kevin S, Eagle Dollar, Tizzy, Corey, Get Funkoed, Dylan, Playboy Orlando, Big Chuck, Michael, Greg, Cole, Liam, T Grove 17, Tua Sucks on Ka, Ryan, Epic Linkiness, It's Black Ace, Anthony, BJ, PJs, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Dave, Muffins, John, Sean Triplet, Burner Hoops, Court Cousins, P. Dot, Hikari, and J. Aqua.
Good old J. Aqua, dude. Good old J. Aqua.
I had a fill-in for you last time.
Yeah, man, I saw that. I really appreciated that because Riv never, ever does it.
Bro folded.
But you know what? It's an Andrew thing. So you know what? I'm glad that if anyone had to do it, it's my guy right there.
Appreciate
that.
So
you know the first Patreon name was Zach Wilson, and I will not repeat the words uttered after that.
Oh, man.
Zach Wilson, but it's Sucks.
You know what? I'm glad because the Tua Sucks on Ka is unjustified and
fine.
really rude.
That one is fine.
No, you know what? This is
but
bias.
You will never catch me.
Bias.
You will
No.
never catch me saying that about Zach Wilson.
These guys.
Last episode, he called me. I wasn't aware. I was just reading fast, and I just said it, and I was like, damn it.
These guys pay to have their names read on our show.
Oh, change your name if you're going to do that about Zach Wilson.
But we can keep Riv. What is it?
Like
Smells like deer ankles.
I never smelled deer ankles. Maybe they smell nice.
Sounds like cares more about Zach Wilson, right?
That's exactly what I'm hearing.
Wouldn't rule it out. That's my franchise quarterback.
Wow, that's
crazy.
Nuts.
That is my franchise. He's my franchise quarterback.
You know who else is your franchise quarterback? Riv. Think about that. Think about that.
He's my franchise teammate.
Who's it could give you a quarterback?
No.
What's Riv?
I'm the quarterback.
This guy is so selfish, it's unbelievable. This guy really is unbelievable.
You don't think Aaron Rodgers appreciated Devontae Adams?
No, I think he did.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I think he did.
Like, see how much he's going to struggle without him.
But I don't know. The difference is that Riv doesn't really care.
About
the deer ankles?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he
Riv doesn't care about them.
He definitely does.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I could be called way worse.
You think Riv cares?
Ankles?
I think so.
Knowing Riv, you think Riv cares?
Of course I do, actually. Riv puts on this facade like, oh, yeah, I just brush everything off me. That's not him. I know the real Riv.
Maybe it cancels out that he gets the sexy hair one, too.
That's brand new. That's new.
Nah,
that was
really?
Yeah,
Because I remember someone saying that Riv has ugly hair or something like that. Riv needs a haircut. I was just like...
No, somebody, I think, posted it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Maybe.
That's what it was.
Regardless.
Yeah.
We gotta show love to the boy.
Of course. That's how sexy hair.
But Zach Wilson, that
that's where we draw the line. Unbelievable.
The first name,
Tua one is
nonetheless.
fine. The Tua one is fine, though.
Tua Sucks on Ka.
Your bias disgusts me.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem fair. Even though, one's definitely better than the other. Gotta be
Tua
constant.
clears. No. He clears.
Like the USFL, probably.
All right, Joel V. Moran, let's get into it.
The NFL schedule came out this past week, and there's a lot of anticipation for it. You know, NFL social medias went out and they did their own little video. I happened to catch the Chargers one, which it was like
Fantastic.
a Naruto-themed schedule
They
release.
don't miss. Chargers' social media team does not miss.
As much as I want to say that the Payton and Russell video was better, I'd be lying.
Yeah, no way.
I would be lying.
The Jets don't do anything really that cool.
I didn't even.
The Jets did put out a video, but it was kind of whack, honestly.
Is your guys' media team lit? Or?
We do have a good social media team,
Okay.
but the video they put out this year was kind of whack. It was
Yeah, our social media is more so good based off of one Jets drive.
One Jets drive's amazing.
It's like documentary style stuff. I think Chargers, they just do a lot of funny stuff. Like you can tell people that are working for their social media team are kind of like newer generations,
like
just
witty.
because they incorporate a lot of memes into the social media and a lot of photoshops and just funny shit.
Like pop culture stuff.
Yeah, they went crazy on the Browns.
The Browns was nuts. I don't know how that got approved, honestly.
That was
I don't know how
crazy,
that got approved.
For real.
What did they do with the Browns?
You didn't see that?
Nah.
Bro, they said that our lawyer said that we should not comment on this. And it says in the corner versus Browns.
Yeah, that shit was funny as hell.
Insane.
And
good for them.
Yeah, but the schedule did released, and which means we're about to rank our top 3 week one games.
Right?
And there are a lot of games that are pretty good week 1, but we're going to rank our top ones.
I'll be honest, I didn't love the matchups. There was really only 4, so I settled because we threw in a top 3.
The one that pissed me off the most was the Monday night game.
Okay.
The Denver-Seattle one. They won it because it's not a problem. Denver's going to have an exciting team, but they're making it up to be Russell Wilson return to, like, you're going to 30 clip them. Like, it's not going to be a good game.
I'm excited
but
to
it's
see
still
it.
his return to Seattle.
And
that warrants
dude,
a prime
you really
time
had to
game.
say that, too. Because
does it warrant a primetime game?
I think it does.
It's not going to be a good game.
What if Geno Smith plays?
It does, Geno or Drew Lock, they're going to get 30 clips.
Did you really have to say that when it's my number 1 most excited game I'm looking forward to?
But it's because you're a Denver fan.
I mean, bro, he's coming back home, right? Like,
The storyline is cool. The storyline, sure, it warrants a primetime game, but the game itself,
yes, it's because I'm a Broncos fan. I want to see Russ play.
I have the Jets on here, so I can't.
Come on now.
So let's start counting down. So 3-1.
Oh,
right, 3-1. All right, I have the Chiefs versus Cardinals, the 4:00 game.
Oh, 3-1. You go. I didn't prepare 3-1. I just have.
Is this guy serious,
dude? I have 4.
Are you new here?
I have 4, but I'm expecting all of us to pick one of them.
Did you not say top 3?
I'm Okay, I didn't think this was 3-2-1.
You might as well have dumbass written on your forehead.
That is so fucking rude.
That was rude.
So
just go 3-1.
Yeah,
3-1. All right, so my number 3, I have Chiefs versus Cardinals. That's going to be a really fire game, and we're going to talk about it later, but maybe an upset in someone's future. Who knows? Number 2, I have the Bills versus Rams. To start the season that way is unbelievable. You couldn't ask for a better matchup. Of course, number 1, Broncos versus Seahawks.
How's that 1? You're a dumbass for having it number 1.
Are you serious?
That game sucks.
I think you don't understand. You don't understand what Russell Wilson means to Seattle. I think that's what you don't. I think that's not what you
I understand.
that.
Like, the storyline's great, but, bro, the game sucks.
But you know what's not going to suck? Russ in the blue and orange.
I know, because he's going to put up like 5 touchdowns, 400 yards, and go stupid.
Oh, and the MVP talk's going to start week 1 immediately.
You're going to have pain flashbacks to the 7-touchdown game?
I honest to God, as soon as he runs through the tunnel, I might start crying. Oh, of course it's my number 1 most anticipated. Can you blame me?
I respect it.
Again, the storyline is there, man. He's going back home to rip the Band-Aid off immediately. It's something that he needs.
For sure.
What if Jamal Adams has a big-time 2-interception game?
Listen, I'd be stunned.
It's like his career high, or his like career total, honestly.
He barely does anything in coverage.
Yeah. All right, 3-1. My third one, it's the Jets in Baltimore. You know, I'm excited to see the Jets with this new revamped offense. We have a test right away. Originally, there was rumors out there that it was New England week 1, and I was terrified of that. Even though they're the worst team, just Bill Belichick always scares me. But having gone against Baltimore, it's 2. Lamar Jackson's my favorite player, not on the Jets. So that's also plays into account. You get J.K. Dobbins back. What does his offense look like without Hollywood Brown here now? So I'm excited to see that. And then on the Jets side, you know, it's going to be a test for one of the best teams in the AFC. What are the Jets made of this year? Everyone's talking about how they won the offseason. They won the draft. So now it's going to be time to, you know, put the pads on, see what this offense looks like. And we have a revamped defense now too. So it's week 1 is going to tell us a lot about the Jets. Are we going to go out and get 30 clips? And then it shows us, okay, we're not nowhere close. But if we can keep this competitive, it should be, a good sign for things to come. My number 2 game is Las Vegas at the Chargers. You know, the AFC West, we're going to get into it later, but it's the best division of football, the best division we've ever seen. You have 2 of the most improved teams in the NFL, the Chargers improving their defensive line with Khalil Mack to headline it and their offensive line. And then you have the Raiders getting Devontae Adams coming over. So their offense is going to look probably completely different, and Chandler Jones defensively too. And maybe, you know, Derek Carr, dark horse MVP type season. We were discussing that in the car.
Big facts.
Really getting Darren Waller's been there, but an elite number 1 option, probably the best wide receiver in football. But my number 1 team, or number 1 matchup it's the Bills and Rams. You know, the NFL does some things right, some things wrong. They always get the week 1 matchups right. I feel like last year was Dallas and Tampa Bay.
That was a great game.
It was a really good game. And still, like, looking back, probably not the best matchup they could have put out there. But, you know, You have the big name guys, Stafford versus Josh Allen, Ramsey versus Diggs. But I'm excited for the smaller things. Allen Robinson with a good quarterback.
True.
Cam Akers a year off his Achilles. What does he look like?
We'll see.
Gabe Davis season. Is this the start of Gabe Davis turning into a number one wide receiver like my friend Joel thinks he's going to have 1,000 yards and make the Pro Bowl? So I'm excited all around.
Let me tell you, that Chargers-Raiders game, that should be 3 for me. Completely missed that one.
The Chiefs.
But that's going to be a great game too. But
yeah.
You're 100% right. The fact that the storyline of Week 18,
that should be Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
You guys should be 4 o'clock.
Easy. Come on.
I'll be honest. Your list wasn't that good.
I mean, Chiefs and Cardinals is going to be a really good game, especially because
with no D-Hop.
That's okay. It's going to be okay because Kyler Murray's still box office.
Honorable mention: Green Bay and Minnesota. I'm really excited for that because this is the first year where it really feels like Minnesota has a shot for the division. Kevin O'Connell's first year.
Packers just don't excite me.
They don't, but I'm excited to see what do they look like without.
They excite you? Packers excite you.
What do they look like without Tay?
This is the first time in 3 years.
Christian Watson.
Their defense is elite.
Their defense is going to be really good.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the
Dalvin
better
Cook in
ones
number
this
4.
year.
What does he look like first year in number 4?
I'm still not.
No, we talked about this. It's a good. It's kind of a. It's a win-win.
I just have the 33. You know what I mean?
But that's like vintage.
It is.
I
could sell that one day.
Maybe.
But I definitely won't.
Yeah, no. Get it signed. Get it autographed.
When I meet you, Dalvin, take care of that for me.
You got to show him his nickname too, on Sleeper.
Yo, I definitely will. I definitely will.
Honorable mentions for me. Just gonna start off with that. Jets and Ravens, right? Broncos, Seahawks. Nice story. Bucks, Cowboys.
Sucks, it's an honorable mention.
Bucks, Cowboys.
It's gonna be, we'll see. The new look Cowboys, I'm not really looking forward to
if that's anything like the week 1 last year, that was probably one of the best games that we've seen.
But Cooper went crazy that game also.
Yeah. Number 3, Packers and Vikings. Like you mentioned, this is the year that the Vikings can have a shot at the division because the Packers have no wide receivers. And I think the Vikings want to make a statement in week 1. But also the Packers are looking at everybody like, you're counting us out only because we don't have a big name receiver.
That's exactly.
But our defense is elite. Our offensive line is going to be back because you have Bakhtiari now fully healthy. Elkin Jenkins, who got hurt last year as well, is now coming back. He's going to be healthy. And their running back duo is still one of the best tandems in the NFL. Number 2, Raiders versus Chargers. Week 18 rematch. Went down to the wire. This is going to be a hell of a game. I think the Chargers win this one, though. There's no doubt about that. I think they win that one. And number 1, of course, it has to be Bills and Rams. The fact that you had any other game number 1, and the fact that you had the Broncos Seahawks number 1, because while they were my honorable mention, that's like they were my last team I was honorably mentioning.
You just don't get it, man.
Which is like
you don't get it.
The 1 to 6 disparity.
We're going on what 6 years? 6 years of having
championship in 2015.
I understand. No, I agree, but I've had to go through Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, respect to Teddy Bridgewater and what he did for us, Drew Lock. Can you understand what I've been going through? Yeah, exactly. Step back 3, Drew Lock. Joe Flacco, thank you very much. Thanks for reminding me of that. I get Russell Wilson now. Sue me for that being my most anticipated game, right? God forbid.
Just you play Seattle. If you played like anyone else.
Dude, you don't understand the story, all right, man? That's what you're not getting.
The NFL gave you guys a layup. They want this whole Russ thing in Denver. What?
Dude.
Yes, bro. They wanted to work. They said, we'll give you Seattle week 1. It's a great storyline, but Denver could go and smoke them by 30.
That's going to get us going early.
The best game of week 1 is Bills versus Rams. That's the best
That's
game.
why I had 4, because I knew we were all going to say
Let me take
that.
my bias hat off. 100% that Bills-Rams game is going to be
That's
electric.
a Super Bowl preview.
I can't wait.
Possibly.
I don't know about that.
No? Oh, yeah.
Don't know about that.
The Rams going to go back-to-back?
It's definitely possible they could represent the NFC again.
Yeah. I'm excited, though.
Bills representing the AFC.
That I don't know about yet. Need to see it.
We both had. I don't know if you did power rankings last episode. We both had Bills number 1 though.
Yeah, they're my best team. In the
I also think they're the best.
Going
team in
into the
league.
season, completely understandable.
Yeah,
completely.
You think the Broncos have a chance to dethrone them?
Number 1. Oh, you're saying come
sure.
Super Bowl time. Oh, come on, of course.
You have Russell Wilson, you'll always have a chance.
Especially because of Russell
I don't know
Wilson.
what's been happening the last couple of playoffs.
I mean, this is a great team.
And this offensive line that he has is arguably the best he's had since his rookie season.
It's a great line.
Don't play.
Let's see.
Don't play, baby.
We'll see.
Last thing you guys need. Well, you know what? You're cool with me, man. You're cool with me.
Broncos train for sure.
You, on the other hand, although you happen to show love to the Broncos today on Twitter at Joel V. Moran, I was stunned to see the record, truthfully. And
11-6.
And even on your power rankings too, you had us what, 7th?
I know he kind of switched a
I
little
was
bit.
shocked.
I feel like going into this
He had
or
us
the end of the
fourth.
offseason,
He had us fourth.
He wasn't that high on the Broncos.
Maybe it was like that initial I know Drew's about to come in spicy. I just got to complete 180. Which, you know what, I can respect.
Because I think you had them coming in last at one point.
No, he 100% did.
Raiders have a tougher schedule, and they have a tougher start to the year.
They don't have as good of a team.
I have the Broncos having the same record as the Chiefs. So
Dude,
whoever
all right,
owns that
spoilers.
tiebreaker.
All right, take it easy.
I know, but people probably know already.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
you did put the main crux of our show on Twitter, so maybe.
Yeah, they
People here
know.
get explained. It's just a little headliner, you know. Newspapers put headlines
All
out.
right, that's facts.
On to the next topic. You guys reacting to my quarterback list because I dropped the quarterback list on Twitter.
This was some
And I think, the reason why I wanted to do this format instead of like us having our all individual rankings is because it would take too long, right? You'd name.
We're not giving our top 10s?
No, you're giving your top
All
10.
right, sweet. No,
But
the
just-
whole
just
32
in
is
terms of the 32.
we're going to drop our own 32.
I'll make
but-
the original 32. We
Yes.
react to it on the show just so
Yes.
we're not naming 90, 96
Oh, listen,
names.
there's a lot of things. And listen, rightfully so that it got as many interaction as it did. Again, add Joel V. Moran.
So
Go show him some love.
before we start this, just gonna reiterate the rankings, right? So number 32, Sam Darnold. 31 is Geno. 30 is Kenny Pickett. 29, Marcus Mariota. 28, Justin Fields. 27, Davis Mills. 26, Daniel Jones. 25, Jared Goff. 24, Tua. 23, Trevor. 22, Trey Lance. 21, Ryan Tannehill. 20, Mac Jones. 19, Carson Wentz. 18, Zach Wilson. 17, Jalen Hurts. 16, Jameis Winston. 15, Matt Ryan. 14, Dak Prescott. 13, Derek Carr. 12, Kirk Cousins. 11, Kyler Murray. 10, Lamar Jackson. 9, Russell Wilson. 8, Matthew Stafford. 7, Deshaun Watson. 6, Justin Herbert. 5, Joe Burrow. 4, Aaron Rodgers. 3, Tom Brady. 2, Patrick Mahomes. And 1, Josh Allen. And for the YouTube viewers out there, I'll put out the image so
right.
you guys can follow along on that.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
So I'll say this about your top 10. I don't mind it. I would have a few things moved around. The one thing I will say is I have Kyler over Lamar. So Lamar just misses my top 10. I like your top 10. However, Burrow over Herbert and Deshaun
It's crazy.
is nuts. Burrow
And Stafford and Russ.
Burrow over Stafford and Russell is very it's giving recency bias. It is. Because we can agree that Justin Herbert is more talented and has shown more as a football player than Burrow. And I mean, at least in my opinion. Matthew Stafford, there is no throw he can't make, and he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league, and he's coming off a Super Bowl and one of the most impressive playoff runs we've seen in a little bit. Russell Wilson has been victim of situation, and now he's coming to the Broncos. I respect you putting him in the top 10. Now, let's get out of the top 10 for a second, because that 11 through 15, I'm
It's
fine.
perfect.
I'm fine with it.
That's
I'm fine with it. I think I would have Derek Carr over Kirk Cousins, and I would have Dak Prescott over Kirk Cousins, but you and I have gone back and forth. You believe that Kirk is over Prescott, and that's
Yeah,
definitely
for
a
sure.
close conversation. I believe Matt Ryan is 15. Now, once you get through 16 through,
You have Jameis so high.
you do have him very high.
So high.
16 through 24, I'm sorry if I'm speaking for you, Joel. Obviously, you can give your thoughts once I'm finished.
No, you're good.
16 through 24, obviously, we're going to stop at Tua. Tua at 24, having Trey Lance over him, who has played 2 games, is crazy. I respect your projection of Trey Lance. I don't know. You think Trey Lance is going to be better than Trevor Lawrence? I don't know about that. Mac Jones higher than Tua? I don't know about that. Carson Wentz over Tua? I don't know about that. Zach Wilson over Tua? I don't know about that. Zach Wilson at 18, I respect you for it because, yes, you love Zach Wilson. This is one of the biggest Zach Wilson fans you'll ever know. But I think that based off his season production last year, I don't know if I could feel confident putting him over guys like Wentz, Tua, Ryan Tannehill for that matter. Maybe you could say he's over Mac Jones, but you really can't say that truthfully because Mac Jones was the most impressive rookie quarterback out of the bunch.
He was.
I personally, I can make the argument that I could take Tua over Trevor, over Trey, over Tannehill, over Mac, over Wentz, over Wilson.
Tua isn't more talented than these guys.
Isn't more talented?
He's not.
You're being rude.
Like in 2 games, Trey Lance showed me more than Tua.
What did Trey Lance really show you against Houston?
Like physical talent, Trey Lance. I mean, Trey Lance has more
Trey
physical
Lance
talent.
is more
period.
talented than Tua. It's not even a debate, though.
He showed more. There's some throws he has against Houston. And
Just has a strong arm.
Who is this?
Well, he's
And
also
yes, he
more
can-
athletic.
Yeah, he
Way more.
Fair.
Yeah. Like he made some really good all-platform
just
throws,
to
deep balls.
Counter your Zach Wilson point.
Fair enough.
This past year, pressure rate 10%, second highest in the NFL. Average time to throw before pocket collapsing, 1.7 seconds, lowest time in the NFL. Catchable balls dropped 12.7%, highest in the NFL. So he was not in a good situation.
We talk about Tua having a terrible
I'm
line.
not-
Zach was.
I mean, what did you guys
no,
have?
his
Was your line terrible last year?
When Zach, we just had some injuries. We were having some injuries throughout the year, but Becton going down, obviously. The line was good, especially running.
Like, we're going to talk about Zach Wilson a little bit later, and I'm coming off strong right now, but I don't firmly think that Zach should be bottom 6 like everyone else believes that he should. I respect the Zach Wilson support because I am a Zach Wilson supporter as well, but I just think that he's a little bit too high.
So before you go, Joel, to answer back, I think in terms of like 25 to 32, we don't have to really talk about
I'm
that
fine
much.
with that.
Well, Geno Smith being over Sam Darnold on Twitter did shock some people, but
Really?
Fields should be on the top of this
Geno
list.
Smith is better than Sam Darnold at this
Not
point.
In the 25 to
25?
30. Yeah, he's not number 1, obviously, but yeah, he should be.
So you're taking
over.
Justin Fields over Davis Mills?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like
I'll just take the chance on the upside.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I think Justin's ceiling is definitely higher, but Davis did show some things last
He
year.
did. I would have Davis Mills over Daniel Jones and Jared Goff.
I would actually have Davis Mills over Daniel Jones as well.
So in terms of Tua
That hurt to
versus,
say.
It did.
in terms of putting Trevor over Tua, Doug Peterson
And Trey Lance?
Okay, weapons. I'll get to Trey
Okay,
Lance.
I
I'll go one by
apologize.
one.
All right, cool.
So Trevor Lawrence, just if he is what he's supposed to be, he is over Tua, and it's not.
If he's what he's supposed to be, then he should be where Zach Wilson is.
The only reason why, Jaguar situation isn't as good as the Jets.
True.
The only reason Trevor's this slow is because I'm still not a believer in the Jaguars all the way.
I agree.
Ryan Tannehill, I think last year he showed us he regressed, and I think this year less talent, offensive line still struggling in pass pro.
Definitely.
He's going to struggle again. This is a year where really it's a make or break year for Ryan Tannehill. Number 20, Mac Jones, just not having the receivers. You know, you got Devontae Parker and stuff, but having Bill Belichick call the offensive plays now, not having Josh McDaniels there anymore, I think is probably going to hurt Mac Jones at least a little bit. That is one I could be wrong on.
Belichick might be calling plays this year too.
Carson Wentz, number 19. I like the Commanders' offensive line. I like their weapons. I like their running backs. This could very well flop, but I believe Carson Wentz will have at least a similar year. And even last year, like a bad season for him was 26 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bad year for him. Zach Wilson, yeah, I think he's going to take a pretty big leap. You know, last year being anywhere between the 30 to 32nd ranked quarterback to now being the 18th best, I think he's going to take that big of a leap. Jalen Hurts, I have him here just because I believe the Eagles will be first in the NFC East.
That's a fine spot to have him.
A.J. Brown just going to help that passing game. Jameis Winston at 16. He threw 14 touchdowns, 3 picks before he got hurt.
Bro, week 1 he had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
No, I
he had 5
understand,
touchdowns
but
on
he
20
was still
attempts.
he was still efficient. And before he
was efficient to the point that he there's no way he could replicate it.
On the play, he tore his ACL. Was a touchdown bomb against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Just want to say that. And now you talk about the Saints having Michael Thomas healthy, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara still there. That defense is still elite. I think the Saints are winning 10-plus games easy, and Jameis Winston is going to be in that comeback player of the year conversation.
I think 10 games is their ceiling. I don't know.
I think Jameis Winston is going to throw 25-plus touchdowns this year, and I would say 13 picks or less.
That's a fair stat line for him. I would have Jalen Hurts above Jameis and Matt Ryan.
And then when we talk about the top 10, I mean, maybe Justin Herbert has more physical talent than Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is way too high, bro.
But
He's not the
Joe
fifth best
Burrow-
quarterback
5
in
is
the league.
high.
Joe Burrow
Just-
made the Super Bowl with the worst offensive line in
but
football.
It's not just
But
because of him.
Burrow was so average.
Of course, it's not because of him.
Statistically,
Well,
he was average.
Well, what do you expect when you have one of the worst offensive
they
lines in football?
have the best weapons in the league, top two, three in the league.
but what?
No, they
That
have
is
the best.
that is nothing if
They
you
have
don't
the
have
best.
time.
Yeah, I'm not
now
gonna-
you're telling me you're giving me Joe Burrow this year with time to make plays to throw to those guys. He will be in the MVP discussion.
But you also have Deshaun, who's just more talented than him, having time and not as
we
good
haven't
as
seen
weapons.
Deshaun play in a year.
We don't care.
And,
I don't
come
care.
on.
And also,
it doesn't
I
matter.
will say this about Deshaun. Deshaun had a fantastic 2020 season, one of the best I've ever seen. I'm not denying the skill, the talent, but before that 2020 year, he was still a great quarterback, elite quarterback. We know that, but he didn't have as good as a season as he did in
Yeah, he
2020.
had Bill O'Brien, some terrible offensive lines.
All right.
And 2020
2020 was the same thing. He had Tim Kelly as an OC.
And he was throwing to
picked
Brandon
up, and
Cooks.
it was like year
He
4
was
for
throwing to
him, bro.
Brandon
Like,
Cooks.
Well, I'm just saying, can I see Deshaun Watson before
well,
I
no,
put him
because you
over?
can't say you can't say.
Can I see Deshaun Watson?
Do you have any
at
worries
least-
about Jameis coming off a torn ACL, not playing in a year? Then you can't have any worries about Deshaun Watson.
He did play in a year though.
He played 4 games.
Yeah, but he did play.
He's coming off an injury. We know Deshaun,
Yeah.
the talent of Deshaun Watson.
Well,
That doesn't have to
I'm
go
not
without question.
disrespecting Deshaun. He's 7.
No, you're
No,
just
I know, but Burrow over him.
Come-
He's set. What do
To
you
me,
mean?
Joe Burrow is like
a
10th.
player who took his team to the Super Bowl. Like, what are we talking about here? Deshaun
great
Watson was
quarterback.
up 24-0 on the Chiefs and blew the lead.
We're not going to say Deshaun Watson blew the lead.
Well,
Like,
he
the
was
defense
a part of it.
24 points.
Well, yeah, but when the offense scores on your defense, you are also
You get the
allowed
ball
to
back. I
answer
understand.
drives back.
But the
and he
Chiefs,
didn't
the
answer
Chiefs,
any
the
of
Chiefs
those
had by
drives back.
far the better
There's-
roster,
there's just
the better
no-
coaches.
there's
Oh,
no-
but they were up 24-0 though.
Yeah,
There's
they got
just-
off
If
a
that's Joe
ridiculous
Burrow,
start.
you are dropping him to 15 here.
No, I'm not.
I know you are. I know you are.
Hell no. I have Burrow. I don't know when we're going to give our list, but I'll quickly just go over your top 10. I don't have much of a problem. Joe Burrow at 5 seems way too high. I would have Herbert, Deshaun, all of these. I have Herbert at 10. I mean, I'd have Deshaun, Herbert, Stafford, Russ, and Lamar all over Burrow. The middling ones, this like
So you would
11.
have Burrow at 10.
Yeah. This 11 to like 19
I have
range.
Burrow at 9.
I don't have much of an issue. I think Matt Ryan's a little too high. I like Jalen Hurts more. Jameis seems a little too high. I would just push them down and put Hurts at 15, move those guys back a little bit. But for the rest of them, like the young guys, the Mac Joneses, Trey Lance, Lawrence, Tua, Zach Wilsons, this all feels about right to me. I'm higher on Trey Lance, I know, than you guys are. I think he's gonna be great. It's just a matter of time. He's gonna start. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. The whole Jimmy Garoppolo situation, whether he gets traded or released, Trey Lance is gonna start week 1. I think he's gonna look really good pretty quickly. And Trevor Lawrence is a tricky one because, coming out, we all thought of him obviously as a great prospect. He had a down rookie season, but I'm still in on Trevor. 23 feels about right. I'd have Fields above Davis Mills, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff. But the one that just sticks out is Joe Burrow at 5. He's a great quarterback. I'm not trying to hate on Joe Burrow, but these guys below him just have more natural talent.
It's like you have him in your top 10. You're not saying that he's a
Yeah,
bum.
no, not by any means. He's a great quarterback.
There's a lot of great quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
we're talking about Lamar and Kyler being the 11th best quarterback.
what I'm
That's
saying.
ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Well, also, just to talk about the Trey Lance point and why he's over Tua is because he has Kyle Shanahan. He has a
Mike
running.
McDaniel, show some respect. Tyreek Hill,
Are you
Jalen
serious?
Waddle, Mike Gesicki.
I know, but like Kyle Shanahan,
Good
Mike
offensive
McDaniel,
line.
Miami's
Mike
weapons are better.
McDaniel is Kyle Shanahan's
He's the son.
here.
He's
Mike
like the
McDaniel
son.
is here.
He's the son.
Fine. I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. I'm fine with that. And now you're giving that to my guy too.
I would be. I'm
But
ecstatic.
the
for-
reason I'm
Tua.
counting on Trey Lance more is because of Kyle Shanahan, the physical talent he already possesses, Debo, Ayuk, running game, offensive
Yeah,
line.
I'll tell you, bro. Those 2 games, he
he's
showed
in
me
a
more.
he's in a great position.
He showed me more than Tua.
Oh my God, against Houston, he was okay.
Yeah, Houston. Who was the second game he started against?
So
I'm
I have a
blanking.
question for
Seattle.
you then. So I have a question
It's
for
not
you
his
then.
fault. Start
So
against who you start.
I'm gonna bring Russell Wilson into this because this is the latest example I have that's in my head. Russell Wilson, for years when he was carrying Seahawks teams to the playoffs, and mind you, people projected the Bengals to win 5 games most this past year, and they exceeded everybody's expectations. So when Russell Wilson was carrying these teams to the playoffs, and I would say he had great weapons in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Those 2 guys are definitely DK's a top tier receiver, and Tyler Lockett
He was
is one
bringing
of
them to the playoffs before.
Tyler
DK.
He had
I know.
Baldwin though.
Yeah, but when he was bringing them to the playoffs that time, it was
Marshawn.
Legion of Boom. It was
No,
they
I'm
were
not
carrying.
talking that far back.
Okay, but
There's a few like a 2-3 year span where it wasn't
Correct.
Agent of Boone,
but it was
wasn't DK.
DK Lockett. You had Chris Carson, Rashad Penny. They had running backs. Chris Carson before he got hurt was a great running back. When he lost in the playoffs, all anybody said was, "Oh, it's the offensive line is shit." Burrow was operating under a worse offensive line, but still managed to win 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. So why are we
Seahawks fans blame the defense a lot more than the offensive line.
This is the thing, though. I just don't understand this logic. Joe Burrow has become one of the more underrated, overhated quarterbacks in the NFL because people people have been comparing him to Tom Brady a lot, which it's an unfair comparison. But Burrow was under the 31st ranked offensive line and won 3 games against the Raiders, against the first seeded Titans, against the Chiefs, came back in that game. And that game wasn't even a fluke because he came back against them in the regular season as well. He threw for 900 yards in 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens. He goes to the Super Bowl, and now people are like, oh, it was a fluke run. Oh, he only did that because he has the best weapons in football. Did you look at the offensive line? Russell Wilson had some pretty great weapons with a shit offensive line, and he couldn't get that far. He completed 50% of his passes versus the Rams in the 2020 playoffs and lost against a Jared Goff that had a broken thumb. So I'm just saying, why aren't we showing more respect to Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow was great, but it's not like he had these all-time performances like Matt Stafford did to get to the Super Bowl.
How is he supposed to have them?
Because he has
when
the best
he has
weapons
no
in the
offensive
league.
line.
He has the best weapons in the league, bro.
He has the... you and me were at this table, wild card round, saying Raiders are probably going to win this one because that defensive line is scary.
So the same thing about the Titans and the Chiefs.
Same thing. And what happened? They kept
wrong
winning
every week.
Game-winning drive versus the Texans. That's what Joe Burrow had.
They should have lost to the Titans if Ryan Tannehill played decent. If he played out of 7, they win that game.
But also, I think we have to.
Listen, we can't change history.
We have to give Joe Burrow some credit for
the throw to Jamar Chase.
Not even that, but just not making mistakes and not putting your team in harm's way, knowing your offensive line is horrible and not
he threw
throwing
interceptions throughout the playoffs.
He did it, but I know he did, but he didn't put it in harm's way to the extent of he cost his team the game.
No, you're right.
But now
Tannehill did.
But now he has Alex Kappa, Lyle Collins, Ted Karras, which is an improved offensive line. But it'll be an average offensive line.
This is where we're getting misunderstood. Neither of us are saying that Joe Burrow is shit or is going to be bad. We're just saying these other quarterbacks are just more talented and better than him.
What has Deshaun Watson warranted to be over Joe Burrow?
Bro, his 2020 season was ridiculous.
And Joe Burrow coming off a torn ACL through 34 touchdowns and 14 picks, he wasn't spectacular. And Joe Burrow wasn't even himself until the midpoint of the season.
He had some ridiculous numbers.
You could still see his knee was buckling in the first half of the season.
He's a more athletic Joe Burrow. That's what he is. With a little bit stronger arm also.
Look.
I'm glad you understand that that's perfectly said.
Is Deshaun more talented? Yes. Is Herbert more talented? Yes. Is Stafford more talented? Yes. Is Wilson more talented? Yes. Can you even say Lamar's more talented?
What's the point of this conversation,
No.
Joel?
This is the point. Can you even say Lamar's more talented? Yes. But Joe Burrow's better than all those quarterbacks.
Stop saying that, Lamar. He called Lamar Lamar last episode. And I said, you could take that back right now, or we're going to be running with this the entire year, and he did not.
There is something special about Joe Burrow. All these quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow's got the intangibles as hell.
All these quarterbacks I named, the Herberts, Watsons, and Staffords, you can say the same thing, that they're more talented than Brady as well. But there's something about Brady. That's why he succeeds.
He also has a strong-ass arm. And he's great at
Joe Burrow has a strong enough arm.
He's the smartest quarterback ever.
There
probably.
You go.
Him
and Joe Burrow, I can make the argument he's the smartest quarterback in the NFL currently.
Deshaun is in that conversation also.
Tom Brady's alive.
So it's Tom Brady then
Tom Brady's alive.
If we're talking about the quarterbacks who are the smartest, I would talk about Tom Brady.
Burrow's in that
Mahomes,
for
Russell,
sure.
Aaron,
Russell
has to be there. Yeah. Burrow's in the conversation. So I'm just saying, I just feel like the argument used against Burrow a lot of the times is this talent thing. Well, what has Deshaun accomplished? Some of the teams Deshaun has had have been as complete as the Bengals this past year.
I don't know. The
Their
Bengals defense was
defense
really
is-
good down the stretch.
Well,
I don't know
Texans
if-
defense, they had top 10 defenses when Deshaun was there with J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. They had those guys.
Clowney was never him.
He was always one of the better run defenders in football.
Yeah, that's fair. J.J. Watt was in and out of the lineup almost every year. Like, how many did he play a single year? He played 16 games. Like, yeah, he had some defenses, but I mean, the Bengals last year, they went on a really good run.
I mean, the Texans were good enough to the point that before they got Watson, they were routinely winning the division with Brock Osweiler's and Fitzpatrick's.
Points against, they were 19th, 2019, the year that they blew the lead to
Chiefs.
Okay.
Correct.
In 2018?
2019.
Oh, no, I'm just asking like the 2018.
Oh, you want me to look up 2018?
Yeah,
Excuse me?
to see, if I'm actually correct and that they had a top defense.
We
So
just throw
Bengals
it
were
out there.
17th this past year, points against.
They had a great defense 2018. They were 4th. Now I wonder, did Deshaun play that whole?
I think he got
Says
hurt that
ACL.
year.
Yeah.
He got hurt
Deshaun
that
had
year.
his ACL. Deshaun had the ACL injury too and came back in 2019 season and had his best year to date.
Not better than
2020.
2020, sorry.
not
yeah,
better than
2020.
Joe Burrow's second year.
And
though.
2020, that was when he lost.
I think Deshaun had better numbers than Burrow did. I'm almost positive.
and the completion
Well,
percentage
Burrow had
was
34
insane.
touchdowns, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. Deshaun Watson, full season at 26 touchdowns, 9 picks.
2020?
2018.
Oh,
Now I'm talking
just-
about,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about second
Yeah,
seasons.
you're right.
But other than that, what do you guys have wrong on my list?
Like
Well,
we
Drew
said,
mentioned
yeah,
his, but
was
Joe,
gonna
I
say.
didn't.
I
get your
went
full
through it.
take.
I told you. I thought Burrow was too high. In terms of like the middling packs. I talked about this already. I don't know. Maybe you were in outer space before.
It's true. He went through the
I
whole
went
thing.
through
He
all
went through the whole
of it.
thing. So,
All right, that's
so
fine.
I'll go through my top 10 and I'll go from
All right,
from
so
10 to
just
1.
to top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL currently. Drew going first.
All right,
for
so
your
my,
top 10.
at number 10 I have Kyler Murray. At number 9 I have Joe Burrow. Number 8 Matthew Stafford. Number 7 Russell Wilson. Number 6 Justin Herbert. Number 5 Deshaun Watson. Number 4 Aaron Rodgers. Number 3 Tom Brady. Number 2 Patrick Mahomes. And number 1 Josh Allen.
I have a very similar list. I know I tweeted out earlier a few hours before the show started, and I already made a change. Originally, I didn't have Stafford on my list, but I went back and fixed that because I made a mistake. I definitely made a mistake.
Smart.
I took Kyler off. Kyler was originally 10.
That stings.
10, Joe Burrow. 9, Lamar. 8, Stafford. 7's Russ. 6, Deshaun. 5, Herbert. 4, Rodgers. 3, Brady. 2, Mahomes. 1, Allen. And Mahomes and Allen could be 1A, 1B. I don't like going into the season. Even when they played, I said Mahomes was the better quarterback. But you just bring in Josh Allen, his ability to rush the ball. And, I mean, their arms are the same. Like, talent-wise, they can make every throw, every off-platform throw across their body, left foot, whatever they want to do, they can do it. Josh Allen just has the rushing ability that is borderline elite, probably is elite right up there. Different than Lamar Jackson because Lamar looks to run more. It's just Allen uses that whenever, as escapability if nobody's open. Mahomes could also rush as well. He had a great run against the Bills,
Definitely.
40, 50 yards down the field. He's just not the same type of athlete as Josh Allen. He's not as big as Josh Allen, too.
Not only that, but when projecting who's going to have a better year, you'd probably bank on Josh Allen over Mahomes, given the Tyreek Hill departure and Josh Allen getting Jamison Crowder,
I was gonna
O.J.
say,
Howard,
he's-
improved offensive
Gabe
line.
Davis.
For sure.
Yep, Gabe Davis, exactly, yep. And Stephon Diggs still
Under
be there.
1,000.
Dawson Knox, he's going to have 1,000.
Under 1,000.
I'm sure.
I'm feeling good.
The
I
Auden Tate bet is off.
I have Gabe Davis. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Say
it's
it again.
not.
What'd you say?
The Auden Tate bet is off.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not. No,
What
it's
did we
not.
bet? No, it depends on what we bet.
Serge said under 800.
No, well, I know the number, but I'm
Oh,
talking
what
about
we bet?
the
I don't remember.
compensation.
I don't remember.
I think it was the if he has under, he gets Joel's to go, or maybe that was something
I don't
different.
know. All right. As long as it's not nothing crazy.
We have to go back and see.
As long as
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
you
nothing
don't
crazy.
like. They drafted Drake London. I don't care. He got buried by Geronimo Allison and Brian Edwards. That's because
Those
he
are
got
some good players.
No,
man. Those aren't some good players.
I don't want to be rude to those guys,
Those
but
aren't some serviceable players.
if you think
Listen, at
Auden
one
Tate
point,
is as good as you think he is, he should be able to beat out Geronimo Allison and Brian
there was
Edwards.
a point
we
in
know
time.
it's not about politics.
There was
man.
stop.
NFL's about
All three of those
politics.
guys are new to Atlanta, so they
NFL's
could
about
all go in.
politics.
They haven't worked with these guys before. They could go and show in.
Bro, he
we should
literally
be the
Arthur
starting
Smith
receiver
went in and
outside
said,
of Drake.
"Let's trade for Brian Edwards." He already
They
has
gave
a
up like
plan
a
in
6th-round
place.
pick.
There was a point in time where you held Auden Tate to such a standard that you thought that he could potentially steal opportunities from Jamar Chase.
Yo, you guys,
So-
it is funny because we watched that clip back, and the way you make me come across was
it's
not
'cause
how I came across.
No, that's how
No,
you
it was
came
not.
across. Because there's a reason we sat there 15 extra minutes and had a heated debate about it. Because you came across crazy. Anyways, me having Deshaun at 5 is for the fact that I do believe that he is the most
You
complete.
have him over Herbert.
I do. Because I do believe that he is the
Ridiculous.
most complete quarterback in the game. But because he hasn't been on the field, I can't put him higher right now.
Yeah. I mean, you had what? Did you have Herbert and Allen, one spot apart? Yeah, you had Herbert 6, Deshaun 7.
Well, yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean, come on. Putting Watson over any of those guys is crazy right now.
Deshaun's more athletic than he is. He's smarter than Herbert. Herbert has the stronger arm,
I don't
but
know.
both
I
of
don't
them
know if
can
he's
make
smarter
anything.
than
Yeah, I don't know how do you measure
Deshaun,
that.
just reading the field, making
You
throws.
you should be able to resonate with Herbert. He's a bio major 4.0
Listen,
at
he's a
Oregon.
genius without a doubt. But Deshaun Watson and his completion percentage, 2020 season was what 70.
It
He
was
threw
in
for
the
almost 5,000 yards.
How does that mean you're smarter than somebody though? Having
completion
a better
percentage to a
It
degree?
just
It
means
just
accuracy, bro.
that
And
and
also the
also,
types of
you're not
passes.
making.
When I think smart, I'm
erratic
thinking like
throws.
at the line
And, well,
adjustments.
that too, and just his ability to scramble outside the pocket, understand when it's his time to go, when it's his time to be meticulous in terms of, all right, I know I can make this throw, but it's in a risky situation. I don't necessarily think that I should make that throw. It's just different things that go
Well,
into
there's
the
that's
no-
way I
decision
look at
making
it.
more than smart.
Well, there's no.
I mean, but decision making is a
It
part
plays a
of.
part.
Yeah, correct.
Well, there's no argument for Watson when it comes to being that because Herbert had 4 different offense coordinators in Oregon, went to the NFL, COVID's riddled season, so no offseason basically, had a new OC,
Again, it just
set rookie touchdown records, and
Yeah,
then next year has a new OC.
And he got thrown in last minute too when Tyrod had the punch.
Yeah,
for the ball.
he's had a new OC. This is the first
I
time in
was-
his career
I don't think it's
he has the
crazy.
same
I
OC.
love Deshaun too.
Deshaun didn't start his rookie season. Came in, I think he played the Bills. The Bengals. Ironically, he had the rushing touchdown. Don't quote me. I think it was the Bengals. I could be wrong, but then he just took over after that, and then he tore his ACL. Comes back the next season. Texans are a playoff team. 2020 season was outstanding. Threw for almost 5,000 yards, 70% completion percentage.
That was year 3, right?
Yeah,
2020?
yes.
Right.
Deshaun Watson,
He only threw 33 touchdowns.
33 touchdowns.
It's not a lot.
Herbert had 34.
But okay, no.
Yeah, and a
no,
team that's
I'm
more
fine
balanced.
with that. I'm fine with that. 33 touchdowns with Brandon Cooks as his best option.
Yeah,
And
I don't even
and
know.
Will Fuller,
Was
who
it-
got suspended.
Yeah, facts.
In a
Fuller.
pass-heavy offense that all he's
Because
doing
he's
is throwing
Deshaun
the ball,
Watson.
But I'm just saying, these other offenses are at least more balanced.
That's rich coming from the Matt Ryan lover.
Just freaking passing
Talking
it all
about
the
passing
time.
touchdowns.
And he still had 440 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns.
He was spectacular.
job.
No way.
He has
him.
no playoff
He's
success.
definitely
So
him.
I don't care.
I mean, he has a playoff
Neither
win.
does Herbert.
he has no playoff
Neither
success.
does Herbert.
Well, I don't care.
He has a playoff win against the guy we have as the number 1 quarterback in the league. Because justifiably so, he is.
Before he was the number 1 guy in the league, but fair.
When he was just mid-tier, basically.
When he was questionable. if we're
No,
being
he
honest.
was still solid.
No,
That was the first year they made the playoffs.
After
I
that
know, but
season,
that-
they didn't make the playoffs
Yeah.
because of Josh Allen. No, they
No,
made the
he
playoffs because
became-
their defense was elite.
their defense was like top 3 that year.
I want to say, was Josh Allen like almost dead last in completion percentage that year also?
He was bad. He showed
That's the
improvement,
thing.
but he
Yeah,
still wasn't.
facts.
He wasn't
Correct.
great.
Nobody
That's
expected
facts.
him to have this lead.
That was
no.
That was the year he did the lateral pass when like it was the last drive of the game or whatever, it was 4th quarter. And he did the lateral like.
Bro, that
and
was
went out of
against the
bounds.
Texans.
I know. Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like everyone's like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, he lost his mind right there.
This
Now he can
Deshaun
do it.
Watson praise doesn't sit right with me.
I
He's
guess.
amazing.
Top
I
top
guess.
10 quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson at 10, Russell Wilson 9, Matthew Stafford 8, Deshaun Watson 7, Justin Herbert 6, 5 Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers 4, 3 Tom Brady, 2 Patrick Mahomes, and 1 Josh Allen. That's my top 10.
At least we can
It's
agree
not
on
bad.
the top 4.
We all the same top 4.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is the one.
Aaron
that's
Rodgers
like,
should probably be 3 though.
I was gonna say
I
the
had him
opposite.
originally at
No,
3.
but that's what I'm saying. I think Brady's
would say
a
the
better
opposite.
quarterback.
Brady's over Rodgers.
Yeah.
So you think Rodgers goes to Tampa? What are the results of that?
I can tell you for sure last year that Brady wins against the Niners if he's on the Packers.
I think.
I don't know.
I think that the Packers would go further than the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
it's just year after year with Rodgers.
Brady left the field in a tie game against the Rams.
After being
Coming down
28-3.
27-3.
27-3,
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I hate what you
Bro,
just said.
Brady and Rodgers, like
was
they're
a
both
part of that
spectacular,
comeback.
but Brady's
No, but-
just different.
Okay, but it's you want to know why I hate what you just said?
Because you took a magnifying glass and you listened to every word I said and said, this is wrong. I'm going to go and really emphasize
Not really.
this.
It's just your entire statement. How you're giving Brady the ultimate credit. And the reason why you prop Brady up over Aaron Rodgers is because he was able to come back in that Rams game, in the game where a lot of those possessions he had back were gifted to him because the Rams just made really boneheaded mistakes.
It's rich.
Boneheaded mistakes. But
rich.
for Joe Burrow, it's the best weapons in the league. Oh, his defense played amazing.
Who's saying this?
That's what you're saying. So you literally
so he just took what you said and dawned it on me.
Because you discredit Burrow for having things go his way. But Brady gets credit for having things go his way.
I literally just said this is not disrespecting Burrow. These other quarterbacks are just better.
Your brain works.
You put Brady over the MVP. No, you put Brady over the.
So did you?
Okay, I know. But
flip
my
it back.
reasoning is
Go
different.
delete the tweet.
My reasoning is different. You're putting the MVP.
I'm
you're
not.
putting Brady over the
Again,
MVP.
He took a magnifying glass.
He came back against the Rams. That's why.
And also, he led the league in touchdowns. He led the league in passing yards.
Most pass attempts, though.
Okay,
by
so yeah, no, fine.
Bro,
who has a
at one
laundry
point,
list
like
of,
Rodgers has not done shit in the playoffs. Like Brady is fucking the GOAT. Bro, six rings. Like, he's the fucking GOAT.
It's just, no, I know. Brady's the GOAT. I'm not trying to, it's just the argument you're using. It's like,
it's not an argument.
When Rodgers has lost in the playoffs, a lot of things outside of him have gone wrong.
Okay, you don't think things have ever gone wrong for Brady, but Brady's fucking Brady, so he's like, I'm just going to overcome it.
Last year, they had the worst special teams unit in the history of football.
Sucks.
And
dude, he scored 7 points.
Yeah, bro. Like, they didn't even get down the court. They weren't getting down the field.
Did he have a passing touchdown, or was that A.J. Dillon? I'm thinking off the top of my head. Give me a sec. I'll look it up.
No, some things have gone against Brady, but for them,
I feel like it was like a defensive or some shit.
No, it was. They scored on their first drive.
Joe, some things have gone against Brady, but for the majority of his career, we know it's often been the other way around. The tuck rule was one of those moments where Brady has already admitted it was a fumble. He's already admitted it. What about the Super Bowl versus the Falcons where he throws what should be an interception?
No touchdown.
It should be an interception, but the linebacker doesn't catch the ball, and then Edelman makes a diving catch and bobbles it and catches it. That was a miracle.
What are you doing here?
No, I'm just saying. What we're talking about is he told me things haven't gone against Brady, and I'm like, yeah, they have, but a lot of things have gone in Brady's way as well.
Okay, but bro, we're talking about both of these guys being in the NFL for 15 plus
But Aaron
years.
Rodgers,
At
we
some
know
point,
his
we're not.
defenses has never been
bro, but
great.
I don't care. Like, sure, if you want to sit here and
No.
talk.
It's funny.
No.
It's just funny.
Why am I defending Brady here? Why am I the one defending Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers?
Because what I'm not defending Rodgers. What I'm doing is I'm defending Burrow over you guys having Herbert and Watson over him.
You have this shit as backwards, bro.
The reason why is because the only reason. So when it comes to Watson and Burrow, playoff success doesn't matter because it's about the team.
We're talking about one spot. It's 6 and 7, 5 and 6, whatever it is.
No, but the reason you have Watson over Burrow is because of talent.
He's a better.
But playoff success doesn't come into play.
Bro,
at all,
I have Herbert over Watson. It's one spot.
No,
it's 5 and 6.
I'm talking about Burrow.
Oh, Burrow.
You have Watson over Burrow.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think Watson's a better quarterback.
So with Rodgers, playoff success and a lack of it matters, and that's why he gets punished for it. But with Watson, it doesn't happen.
Last year, Brady put up
Watson
better numbers than
does
Rodgers.
Not have over 10 plus years in the NFL.
We're talking, because Brady and Rodgers, this is different, bro. This is different.
That's not.
This is different.
What is going on in your head?
This is different. Brady and Rodgers have 15 plus years. Watson and Herbert, or Burrow and Herbert, whoever, I don't even know who the fuck we're talking about. These guys have been in the league for like 3-4 years.
It's just funny how your argument switches for the player you're talking about.
Bro, that is rich. That is rich. You have
with Rodgers winning matters, but with Watson it doesn't. Bro. It's just ridiculous.
You just played double dutch in your own mind,
winning 4 games.
No, bro, because
the Texans
this is the
won
difference.
4 games this past season.
This is the difference.
With no Watson.
This is the difference. Watson could go on a run next year, and now he matched Burrow. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, but Aaron Rodgers do that 5 times.
You think he will though?
He can.
He can, but will he? They're two different statements.
Is Burrow going to go back to the Super Bowl?
I'll give Burrow a better chance than giving Watson. Hell yeah.
Like, bro, I'm not
100%.
taking anything away from Burrow. He went on one great run, and I think he's going to do it again at some point in his career. But all it takes is Watson to go on one more run, too. The difference between Aaron Rodgers and Brady is that Brady has 6 rings. He's been to the AFC Championship 1,000 times every year I've been alive.
Yeah, but this
7.
this quarterback ranking is just based off this current season
Oh, yeah,
and projecting.
I'm thinking about Tampa Bay's
and
rings. I'm just
projecting.
thinking,
Well, this quarterback ranking is off of this past season and projecting this current season.
Well, so there you go. So there's no excuse for you to have Burrow over Herbert either.
Why?
Because Herbert is a better quarterback, and he
Burrow
showed it with,
and Herbert had similar stats, and then Burrow made the playoffs and went to
again,
Super Bowl. So why? What are you talking about?
Because we understand that Herbert left that field, giving his team an opportunity to play. He never got that opportunity to take the field again.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Rodgers played like shit against the Niners.
He didn't have his best game.
I can't say that's true. Actually, didn't overtime almost end? It was almost a tie. I'm pretty sure Herbert did have a chance.
No, I said Rodgers against the
I'm
Niners.
thinking. Yeah,
No, Herbert didn't have a chance.
No, yeah, the Raiders.
They won the overtime toss.
Oh yeah. No, but Rodgers played like shit against the 49ers. The whole game he was bad. They put up 7 points. The first possession.
First drive, it was he.
Yeah, okay, the first drive he was good, and then for the next 57 minutes of the game he was bad.
I mean,
no, he missed plays for sure. And
this was in Lambeau when it was snowing. They should have the home field advantage here.
So you agree with that
worked.
logic as well? Like Rodgers played bad, therefore he's not over Brady and stuff like that, right?
It's not one game that I'm looking at, and that's why I have Rodgers over Brady.
Okay. So what about Kyler versus Lamar? So why is Kyler over
For me
Lamar?
personally, I just think Kyler is a better passer. Mm-hmm. And yes, Lamar is a better rusher. He's the best rushing quarterback in the league. However, there's a huge gap where it matters for me with the arm, and that's why I lean Kyler.
So the same guy who in the playoffs didn't do anything, Kyler, and had an embarrassing performance.
He definitely did have a bad showing.
Like even
against
Lamar,
Super Bowl champion,
when he lost against the Titans, he had 500 yards total. So he at least put up a fight. Kyler went out sad in that game. But you have Kyler over Lamar.
I do.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. Just want to know that, this is a combination of stats and winning or just stats and talent.
Stats, winning, eye test. This is the best quarterback.
Because the whole point is best quarterback, right? And usually how you assess a position is by the most talent. Kyler Murray has that over Lamar Jackson.
I don't know. I get a feeling that if I put Lamar in Arizona with DeAndre Hopkins, things get scarier.
You know what's so ironic about that? So ironic.
Hopkins versus Andrews.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. How could I forget?
This guy he just back and forth.
But now they have Hollywood and Hopkins. It's not
Hopkins,
just Hopkins,
who's going to be out for 6 games. That's actually going to be beneficial for him in the sense that he gets to be healthy, plays when it matters most. Sure. Maybe things get exciting in Arizona. Who knows? But we'll talk about that in another episode.
Let's see what Kyler looks like without Hop, too.
I mean, we've seen it.
His splits aren't good.
His rookie season, he was rookie of the year, wasn't he?
I'm talking about since he's had Hop.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
They weren't that good last year. What was QBR, like 43 or something?
It dropped like 20 points or 10, 15 points. Some shit.
Somebody,
we're like 3-5 without
somebody
him.
who sounds like is very relies upon.
Remember when I told you that?
But I don't take that away from Kyler, bro.
I don't either. Trust me.
Like
he's fine.
You lose your best weapon, your numbers
fine.
are gonna go down. Like it's cool.
Right, and Christian Kirk's supposed to be so good, right? It shouldn't have been not that big of a drop off.
He's good enough.
This 6 games tells us should this decide between
that's
Hollywood
facts.
and Kirk?
No, for sure, right.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, Cardinals are not going to be a good team next year. I have them finishing 6-11 actually.
6-11?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's giving away this is like we have episodes to plan for.
I'm giving out nuggets. It's fine. I'm giving it. Just be prepared.
I haven't looked at their schedule, but 6-11 seems rude.
So we just got into a heated discussion about the top quarterbacks. Now, let's talk about top 5 quarterbacks under the most pressure this upcoming season.
Let's do it.
I'll start with you. You can go from 5 to 1 and just name your list.
Sounds good. So at number 5, I have Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert's my number 5 most under pressure quarterback, not because he has anything to prove talent-wise, because we know that talent-wise he has everything you want in a franchise quarterback. But now there's actually pieces put in front of him to actually get stuff done. Defensively, that was the issue for them. They could not stop anyone on the ground. Now you add Jordan Davis to this mix. And secondary, where they really didn't need any help, they go and they add J.C. Jackson. Herbert is supposed to be good enough to elevate his team, which I definitely have no doubts that he can do. I have high expectations for the Chargers this year, but a lot of pressure is going to be put on him to lead the Chargers to the playoffs and make a push, especially now that Burrow has made it to the Super Bowl with an extremely inferior offensive line, to his credit for sure. And I have no doubts in Herbert, but he needs to show it to us. And I think that he will, but he's under some pressure. Now, number 4 is going to be your guys' boy, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson last year to start the season was not good by any means. He gets injured, comes back, doesn't turn the ball over for the rest of the season. He showed some really strong flashes. Even before the injury against Tennessee, that game was his best game, and that was before he really started to take care of the football. Had some excellent throws on the run, in the pocket, under pressure, making throws to the sideline. He has tools to be really, really good in this league. But based off his stats, people definitely are scrutinizing him a little bit extra. And it does not help that he's in New York, and New York media is extremely strong. But now you add some strong pieces in the draft. You give him Garrett Wilson, a potential ex-wide receiver, guys who, a wide receiver who guys had as the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. Defensively, were you guys 32nd in the league last year in defense? We
might have been.
If you guys weren't the worst, you were bottom 3, but now you guys go and you add Sauce, you add Reed, you add Jermaine Johnson in the draft, who was a great pickup for you guys late as you guys traded in to go get him. You get Carl Lawson back. There is now a lot of pressure put on Zach Wilson to now step up in year 2, take that sophomore leap, and I think that he can thrive in this situation, but there's going to be pressure put on him. You're the starting quarterback in a New York team. There's pressure that comes with that. Number 3, Kyler Murray. Listen, I ride for the guys that I do believe are great and that I support, but that doesn't excuse them from being under pressure, and you're going to realize that with my list. Kyler Murray last year left the field against the Rams in embarrassing fashion. The Rams definitely whipped them. They did whatever they wanted with Kyler Murray, and it was ugly. And then it started to allow people to slander Kyler Murray a little bit more than they should, as my friend Joel V. Moran on Twitter, give him a follow, that they...
Bro's been plugging you all episode.
that they don't necessarily believe, but at the same time, you don't have the victory in the playoffs when it matters. You get banged up here and there the past 2 seasons, even though you've put up amazing numbers and you're in the MVP conversation. But now you have something to prove now. You got to win, because that's really what matters, especially when you're a franchise quarterback. And now you want your money as well. There's pressure that gets put on your name, especially when you're trading a first-round pick for a Marquise Brown that people don't necessarily believe that that's what he's worth. But the guys in the front office want to put you in a situation where you can thrive. So there's pressure on Kyler Murray for sure. Number 2 is going to be Russell Wilson. I have Russell Wilson number 2 because let's look at history. Tom Brady leaves in year 1, goes to Tampa Bay, championship. Matthew Stafford leaves in year 1, goes to LA, wins a championship. Russell wants out, requests a trade to Denver. There's expectations now. I'm a fan of the Broncos. Surprise. I've said for many, many years, we get a quarterback, we're championship bound. We have the pieces. We have the defense. You give me a quarterback, that's all we're missing. We didn't just get a quarterback, we got Russell Wilson. There's pressure being put on Russell Wilson to deliver that. And I don't want to put it on him, but that's just the truth. You have to come in and you have to show out. And I think he will, but there's a tremendous amount of pressure on him, given the fact that Matthew Stafford and him are in that class together now. If he wants to show that he's a notch above him, which I do believe Russell is, he's got to come out and provide results immediately. And number 1, to no surprise, Tua Tagovailoa. He is the quarterback underneath the most pressure right now, because there is no quarterback right now in the media that is as scrutinized as Tua is. There is no other quarterback that can have a single highlight without pads, throwing the ball down the field to your new weapon in Tyreek Hill, and he gets over 5 million hits. There's no other quarterback that can have something like that happen to him.
At least he's box office, because he's not a great quarterback.
I'll let you have that one, because
Miami also puts out Tua highlights every day. No, not other teams do that.
But you know why they've done that now? Because it took one clip of them just casually throwing something up for people to take that and absolutely Usain Bolt sprint with it.
For sure.
I think the negativity towards Tua has been a bit much at times, but don't you think that that's just the reaction people have because out of college he was propped up as being generational and the next Drew Brees?
I agree with that, for sure. He was taking over Herbert, right? Automatically right there, that's going to raise some eyebrows. Herbert has come out and shown that he is, at his best, the top 3 quarterback in the NFL. So right there, you're going to have people scrutinizing the Miami Dolphins for that. But he is coming back from a broken hip injury. It's a tough injury to come back from.
This is year 3.
But now it's said that he's healed fully. It looks as if he is in the best shape that he's been in. You look at his legs; they look stronger. He looks more fit. Yes, you're saying that they've released a lot of highlights of Tua, but it's something that I'm grateful for because now we actually start to see some velocity behind his throws. We start to see him get some air distance. And yes, you know what?
I don't care.
It's a little bit too much. And right, you don't care, but people cared with the first clip, which is why I'm happy you say that
because it got.
I don't really care either way.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just speaking generally.
I don't because t-shirt and shorts. Like I don't care what you look like.
No pads on. You can't talk. There's nothing to really say without any pads on. There's nothing to really truly judge.
Sure.
It's just walkthroughs. So that's not going to put aside to the fact that Tua is now going into year 3. You bring in Tyreek Hill. You have Jalen Waddle. This is arguably the best wide receiver duo in the league.
Most dynamic.
You get Tyron Armstead in the offseason. You add to this offensive line that last year was the worst in the NFL. Connor Williams gets added to this group. Robert Hunt was the only good lineman for them. And the biggest blessing of them all, Jesse Davis is off the team. They had a bottom 3 rush offense last year. You bring in Raheem Mostert. You bring in Chase Edmonds. You sign Sonny Michel. No, Phillip Lindsay's going to the Colts.
Oh, Colts, my bad.
And you bring in Mike McDaniel, who's this rush offense guru, and that's going to try to cater to his needs and to his strengths. I think that this is a situation that people are going to look at and think that there are no excuses for Tua, and I firmly believe that as well. So that's why I have Tua as my number 1 most pressured this year.
Would you like to go?
Yeah, you can go first.
Oh, I appreciate that, bro.
No problem.
Thanks, man. Pressure's an interesting word. We were talking before the show, right? Because Justin Herbert has pressure on him to win, but he doesn't have the same pressure as Tua. Because if Tua might win, he might not look great, and his job could get replaced. Justin Herbert doesn't have his job. His job's not in jeopardy no matter what happens. So my top 5 guys are all players who I think are under pressure. Not maybe because of their job like Tua, even though Tua is on this list, no surprise, but mostly because these guys are all expected to win. So starting off at number 5, someone you didn't mention, I have a few guys that you did. I think it's Dak. I think Dak is someone on this list who, he got paid. He got paid last season. He got the huge contract that everyone was kind of teetering 50-50. Should they give him the bag? Should they not? And I think they made the right decision. I don't think you want to be stuck in quarterback purgatory where you have no real answer at quarterback. And Dak has shown to be great on the field and as well as a great leader for the team, for the Cowboys. But at this point in this division, it's been multiple years now. I mean, he has 1 playoff win. It's 2018. We're going on 4 years now. And, there's all those numbers out there. The Cowboys not having X amount of playoff wins and obviously Super Bowls in our entire lives, really, and before we were born. So at this point, Dak got his money, and now he's in a very winnable division for the length of his career. Now it's time for him to go out and win. He took on a big contract, and that's the reason why Amari Cooper had to leave, La'el Collins had to leave. He's going to have a $50 million cap hit in 2023 and 2024. He's really the reason why a lot of these key players are going to have to leave the Cowboys. Randy Gregory going to Denver as well. So as a whole, the Cowboys roster took a step back. So some people might be viewing this as maybe he doesn't have as much pressure, but this is why the Cowboys paid him. The Cowboys paid him because they said, we're going to let some of these guys walk, but we need to have Dak Prescott as quarterback because we think he's the guy to take us over the hump, win playoff games, and eventually get us to a Super Bowl. There's no excuse. You have a winnable division. You have a weak NFC. We just saw Joe Burrow with a very bad offensive line, a defense who in the regular season was pretty mid, given he had great weapons without a doubt, but you still have CeeDee Lamb. You have Michael Gallup coming back. You franchised Dalton Schultz. You have a great running back duo with Zeke and Tony Pollard. So it's not like he doesn't have anything. And for that fact, even when he had Amari, it's not like they had success, but it didn't turn into playoff victories. So for number 5 for me, it's Dak Prescott. Number 4 is Kyler. I think Kyler is I like Kyler a lot. Up until really last year, I had him right on Lamar's level, actually above Lamar, because I agree with you. I think he's a better passer. But up until this point, or this offseason, really, I didn't love the whole contract situation he got going on. Putting out that full page that looked like a fax report of all of these demands he had from the Cardinals. I thought it was a little juvenile. I think
that's why you call him a sorority girl.
Yes.
I understand.
Yeah, I thought it was a little just kind of immature. He's someone who hasn't won in the playoffs, really hasn't won much at all so far in his NFL career. He wants a new contract, and he looked terrible in his first playoff game. He also has bad splits in the second half of the season without Hopkins. Like I mentioned, it's not a big deal because when you lose your best weapon, your numbers are going to go down. But this is the year for Kyler to prove without the first 6 games. What do you look like without Hopkins? Can you make it work with Hollywood Brown now, and you still have AJ Green, who's past his prime, but you drafted Trey McBride, who is a lot of people's number 1 tight ends.
Yep.
Still have Zach Ertz there. Yep. Rondell Moore. So you have some guys there that I think there's at least enough for to go around. We saw Lamar do something very similar with a similar cast of weapons. He didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, but he had Mark Andrews. So Kyler has kind of in that same boat as Lamar, where maybe he is missing one more really good option for these first 6 games. Now, what can Kyler do to go and really prove to the front office that he's worth this $200, $300 million contract? So I think Kyler has all the talent in the world. They gave Cliff Kingsbury a big extension too. They think he's the head coach for the future, that he could take them to the playoffs and eventually a Super Bowl. Number 3 for me is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is I think he's a franchise guy, and I think he's going to go out and show to everybody that he should be the franchise quarterback for the Eagles. I don't really view this as a make or break season for Jalen. Like I said, I think he's their franchise quarterback. And this past season, in his first full season as starter, just under 4,000 total yards, 26 total touchdowns to 11 turnovers. You saw the progress from 2020 to 2021. His interception percentage dropped, QB rating increased, quarterback rating increased as well. Sack percentage decreased. So overall, he had better numbers his first year starting from his rookie season, where he only started 4 games, had a great game against the Saints that rookie year too, when they were one of the best defenses in the league as well. Now they're bringing in A.J. Brown. So you have A.J. Brown and you have Devontae Smith with a great offensive line, a great tight end. The running back room is kind of murky, but I think they have enough weapons and offensive line that Miles Sanders or whoever ends up really being the bell cow there. I think Sanders has the best shot, even though I think Boston Scott ended up at 6 touchdowns last year or something. He has the best shot to be the workhorse and really prove that he could be the guy. He's efficient. He just has some injury history. Miles Sanders, that is. So Jalen Hurts is under pressure, especially being in Philadelphia. It's a big city, a football city at that too. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to go out. He's going to win games. I think he's going to win this division. I think they can win more than 10 games this year and potentially be a top 3-4 seed in the NFC, but he is under pressure because now's the time for him to take another step as a passer, and he has all the intangibles, the tools. He's out there working with AJ Brown, their friends, before the NFL, so they've been working off the field too. So I'm excited to see what Jalen Hurts can do.
Before you give your number 2, I 100% agree, because there's people like me who still don't believe that Jalen Hurts is a great passer by any means. Barely the word good, truthfully. You saw it. He got exposed against Tampa Bay. They forced him to throw the ball, and that's why they got blown out.
Yeah,
so
for
I'm
sure.
100% with you.
Number 2, there's one reason why this guy is number 2. It's because of Joel. Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is on this list, and he has the second most pressure
That's lit.
out of all of these quarterbacks. The second most pressure out of all the quarterbacks in
Russell
the NFL.
Wilson's a Hall of Famer, though. You know what I'm saying? I put him as my number 2.
My dear friend Joel over here has them as the 6th best team in the NFL. Correct me, the 4th best team in the AFC?
Possibly.
So 4th best team in the AFC.
I think 6th in the NFL.
Yes,
Yeah.
They were ranked 6th. So that's
third
best team in the AFC. You know what that means? They have to make the conference chip. You're the 3rd best team in the AFC. You got to win multiple playoff games, and you got to be right there to go to the conference championship. If you're the 3rd best team in the AFC, I'm just doing the math here.
12-5.
Only 2 teams make it. So they're that 3rd team. They're right on the cusp of it. The Colts have gone through 3 different quarterbacks in 3 years with Phillip Rivers. Then they went to Carson Wentz. Then they went to Matt Ryan. They think he's the guy. Matt Ryan thinks he could play 4 more years in the NFL. I view them as they're going to win the division because their schedule is a cakewalk. I mean, they face really nobody. We went through their schedule. We had them at 12 wins, and I really didn't disagree with maybe 1 game at that. So I view them at 11.
That was crazy, though. I remember that.
Before the schedule. Before the schedule came out.
Crazy,
yeah.
Though.
Come on.
And then the Titans traded A.J.
You already
Brown.
knew what teams they were going to face.
I had to see it on paper.
Okay.
Then the Titans go and trade A.J. Brown, so they're going to be taking a step back. I think they win the division, but they're in a bad division. They have the Jaguar, the division is bad, so I view them as they're going to win it, but once they go and face these other elite teams in the NFL, when they have to face, whether it's the Ravens, Bengals in the AFC North, any of the teams in the AFC West, the Bills in the AFC East.
They beat the Bills last year.
That's sick. I've seen the Jets beat the Bengals. it doesn't matter. They're not going to be able to get over the hump and bet and beat these elite teams in the NFL. But Matt Ryan's your guy.
Let him finish.
That's
Let
the
him
pressure.
finish.
But that's
Take
the pressure.
it
That's the
easy.
pressure Matt Ryan has because he has to go to the AFC Championship game for this to be a successful season because they're the 6th best team in the NFL. Do you want
So a
before I
team,
go to number
that
one?
didn't make the playoffs, a successful season for them is an AFC Championship appearance.
Yeah, according
So
to you.
not even winning a playoff game is
No.
a success for that team.
No, they have the 6th
that
best.
hasn't made the playoff. They didn't make the playoffs.
They have the
last
most
year.
Pro Bowlers in the NFL.
haven't won a playoff
They got
game
Alec Pierce. They
since
got
what,
Jelani
5?
Woods. They have Jonathan Taylor.
What's your question?
The Colts haven't won a playoff game since when? 5 years?
You have them as the 6th best team. That's what he is. He's under pressure. It's Matt. If they win or lose, they go. It's because of
they
Matt
lost
Ryan.
in the playoffs with Andrew Luck, right?
They went with Philip Rivers.
Last
They've
year,
won
Carson.
games. They've won games with
No.
Luck.
Last year, Carson Wentz didn't make the playoffs.
They went and lost to
With
Baltimore.
Philip Rivers
Lost
made the
in round
playoffs,
one.
lost to the Bills.
And before that, it was
Jacoby
Brissett,
Brissett
nothing.
didn't make the playoffs. Then Andrew Luck lost in round 1. I believe it was to the Chiefs. I'm forgetting who it was, but I know they lost in round 1. So you're telling me for this to be a successful season, an AFC Championship berth is needed.
They have to win.
Okay.
They have to win
That's
1 to 2.
just-
They have to
that's
win
just
2.
ridiculous.
They have to win 2 playoff
That's
games.
going off your logic.
That's
I'm going
ridiculous.
off your
Going off your
logic,
That's
bro.
ridiculous.
I'm
All right,
going
listen,
off
you know that's
your
ridiculous.
logic.
It is a little. It's strong.
It's strong, but
It's
it's strong to have the Colts as the 6th
Yes.
best team.
Yeah.
So
it
you're
is.
telling me if the Colts win the wild card,
Yeah.
or let's say they get a bye, whatever.
But you're saying,
listen,
win the wild card. I understand.
No, wait.
I
Well,
understand.
to get a
I
bye,
got
they
you.
have to
I
do
got you.
best.
Oh,
So
if they're
let's
the
say-
bye, they're the
if-
1 seed. They got to.
I don't know. Let's say they win the wild card,
Okay.
right? And in the divisional game, they lose by 1 score. It's an unsuccessful season because they lost by that.
Yeah.
2018, they did get to the divisional round.
I know that's 1 playoff win though.
But
That's
that was
why-
2018.
that's why I'm
They got
saying-
Matt Ryan now, though, bro.
That's why I'm saying
They
though,
got-
how.
In 2014, they went to the AFC chip. That
They
was a
got-
while
I know,
ago.
they got
that's,
Matt
what I'm,
Ryan.
that's what I'm saying though.
Why
like,
are you worried? They have Matt Ryan.
It's not that I'm worried. It's just
Why-
that it's
why
a
are you worried,
ridiculous
bro?
bar.
It's
They got Matt
no.
Ryan.
It's a ridiculous bar.
It is yes. In the general sense, what you're saying is strong. However, he's solely targeting
let me-
you.
let me
That's
ask you-
just
let me-
me.
let
It's
me ask
real.
you,
It's real.
If Russell Wilson doesn't make the conference championship but makes it to the divisional round, is that a failure?
It's not a failure. However, I myself am disappointed.
Okay.
Fair?
I'm going
Is
off
that fair?
Because, hey,
I understand what you're saying, but
Listen,
it's not a failure.
I've-
You're telling me it's a failed
Hey,
season. That's
listen.
why you have so much pressure.
I've been called the casual by him, by our fans. I've been called the casual when it comes to the Colts.
Man, who's your number 1 quarterback?
I'm a casual, so I just want to see that he's under pressure because I'm a casual. So they have this great team, the most Pro Bowlers in the NFL last year. Now it's time for Matt Ryan to put up or shut up. They got to win multiple
you
playoff
want to know
games.
what's the difference?
Let's hear it.
The
I do.
only person that is high on the Colts, at least that I've seen speak on it, is me.
Yeah,
Everybody,
I don't know.
everybody in the media has been high on the Broncos.
True.
They expect the Broncos for years.
I've been.
For the
we can read
Broncos
some
years,
Colts
it's
comments.
been-
We can
I
read
was-
some
that's
Colts
why I
comments.
say that. That's
we
why
can
I say
read
that.
some Colts.
Colts
I'm a
comments-
casual.
correct.
I'm a casual.
A lot of Colts fans comment in our section.
Well, they said you're a casual because you said the Titans would win the division, bro.
I said I was 50-50, and they traded AJ Brown. I said, okay, that's it.
Okay, but you thought winning 10 plus games or like 11 was crazy.
Then I saw their schedule, bro.
Okay, all right. Well, that's why they called you a casual because the teams had to come out at that point already.
God forbid I didn't memorize the
All
team,
right.
their opponents.
NFC
Sue me.
East, NFC East. They're of course AFC South.
It must be nice. Yeah, we looked. The Colts have the 2nd or 3rd easiest schedule, and the Texans have the 4th or 5th hardest schedule. The NFL just has a
That
crush
makes no
on the
sense,
Colts
yeah.
for whatever reason.
What was your first quarterback?
My number 1 is Tua. I think he might be number 1 for all of us. And the issue with Tua is, with all
not
these
that
guys, I wasn't going to say that.
See, if I ever spoke ill of Zach Wilson, you would
I would just brush
a
it off.
coronary
I would just brush it off
because your
I'm
disrespect's
seriously.
unwarranted.
Tua's unique. Tua's in a unique
In what
situation
regards?
than the guys on this list because it's not enough. It's not enough. I don't want to know what he's murmuring. It's not enough to just win. It's not enough to just put up good numbers. The eye test has to get past Tua this year because he's put up good numbers across the season, right?
He does. The 16-10 last year.
He's 16 and 10,
13.
66% completion percentage for his career, given 6.8 yards per attempt, air yards, the lowest in the NFL.
Horrible offensive line.
Under 200 passing
Just
yards per game.
mention the offensive line.
QBR 49, bad offensive line.
And the run game that doesn't exist.
The run game was bad.
The
And
head 3 offensive coordinators.
we have an upgraded head coach
Thank
now
you.
for sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
100%.
I'm just making sure we have all the
and
facts.
and injuries, the hip injury.
Thank
You
you.
know, I know there's
Thank you.
been all the excuses in the book for Tua, and some of it, given, it's not his fault.
Thank
You know,
you.
he's had the injuries, the
You
offensive
just
line,
use the word
everything.
excuses. Just has a negative connotation.
I understand.
We know this.
There's reasons for why Tua has played the play style he has. But now this season with the upgraded offensive line, the weapons, the head coach, we spoke about all of this at length over these last 3 months. Now it's time for Tua to go out and show us what we have seen and see Alabama Tua, this electric arm, this guy who can make every throw, who can be mobile and get outside the pocket. I'm excited to see it because coming now, I thought Tua was going to be the second best quarterback in the NFL. Herbert has proven that wrong. Joe Burrow has been phenomenal too.
In the draft, he's saying.
Yeah, in the draft. But that's all been fixed. He's 3 years removed from the hip injury. You have the most dynamic wide receiver room in the NFL. But Tua is just different because we see the eye test with Kyler, and for me, the Jalen Hurts passes the eye test too. But now for
Jalen Hurts passes the eye test,
he
but
does.
not
He does.
Tua.
His arm is better. He's more mobile.
His arm is better than
Yes.
Tua's?
Yeah, he has a stronger arm, for sure.
Those glasses,
Without a doubt.
Those glasses make sense.
No, without a doubt.
The glasses make
Without a
sense.
doubt.
They make sense.
You wear contacts.
And they're better than your glasses.
I got his ass. He's got to pass the eye test and win. So Tua's a little different.
You bastard.
Well, you guys went on a whole rant here, giving your guys' list. I'm not going to take up too much time. Number 5 is Ryan Tannehill. I think this is potentially the last year he could be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's coming off his worst season in Tennessee yet.
Definitely.
And now he has a quarterback who was touted as the most talented quarterback in this past draft in Malik Willis right behind him, waiting for him to have a 2-interception game or a 3-interception game for when Mike Vrabel just pulls the plug. So Ryan Tannehill is on a short leash. Every single game he plays has to be good to great. And if he has 1 to 2 stinkers in a row, he might lose his job. Number 4, Zach Wilson. He just has to show franchise quarterback potential.
Agreed.
He just has to show the flash. He has to show more Tennessee Titans Zach Wilson flashes in year 2, at least 3 or 4 of those games.
Tampa Bay
but I
Zach
think
also.
Zach Wilson will be fine. Number 3, it's Russell Wilson. Broncos traded 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. This is supposed to be the move that gets the Broncos to the Super Bowl. The last time you got traded for a quarterback like this...
Traded two first, 2 seconds.
Okay. The last time you traded for a quarterback like this was Peyton Manning.
We signed him.
We signed him. And he brought you to Super Bowl. He brought you 2 Super Bowl appearances.
I was going to say it took some time.
So Russell Wilson has that type of expectation. You mentioned already every quarterback that has changed teams these past 2 years have went to the new team and they have won. Whether that's going to be Russell Wilson or Matt Ryan this year will be determined.
Oh, but I thought it was unsuccessful.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Super Bowl.
He
Super
said
Bowl.
it. He
said it, not
you
me.
Folded. You folded.
I didn't fold.
You
I threw
folded.
a little
Super
joke.
Bowl or bust for the Colts, baby.
Folded.
Super Bowl
You
or
guys
bust.
take these jokes too seriously.
Oh, now this. Now this.
Whenever it fits his narrative.
But
Whenever
the
it fits his
Matt Ryan
narrative.
thing was ridiculous.
That was hilarious.
Number 2 is people might give me slack for this, but
Okay.
I think he's at this spot. Number 2 is Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert, he hasn't made the playoffs yet. First season sets all the rookie records. He's the next elite. He is an elite quarterback. He had one of the worst offensive lines, was still great. Second season, 1 game away from making it to the playoffs, just had to beat the Raiders. Loses in that game. Granted, he was spectacular in it, but we can't forget that a couple weeks ago, they lost to the Texans. And that was supposed to be a gimme game. Had they won that game, they're not in that position versus the Raiders week 18. They also got embarrassed by the Patriots around the midway point of the season, and Herbert didn't have a good game.
Baltimore destroyed them. They rushed
and
for like
Baltimore
400.
destroyed them. So
Yes.
they had some really bad losses, and in order to avoid those week 18 matchups, Herbert has to come out. He has to win those games, and the Chargers as a whole have to win those games. The Chargers just added the most notable players this offseason to their team. People are expecting them to win the AFC East. They've had expectations for years now, and I think this season is the season where most people right now view Justin Herbert as the next elite quarterback, the guy that's up next in that group of guys. We know he's elite right now, but he has to take that next step. If he doesn't make the playoffs this year, he has to make the playoffs. If he doesn't make the playoffs this year, we're looking at him more as Phillip Rivers than we're looking at him like a Phillip Rivers. Just another Chargers quarterback that has great stats that just doesn't win.
Year 3. That'd be kind of harsh.
Year 3.
Year 3.
This roster's legit.
Oh, no, it's phenomenal.
It's a legit roster.
I honestly didn't even put him on here because I think it's going to be great.
And then number 1, It's Tua. It's Tua, right? They surrounded him with enough to win. And the past two seasons, I mean, take me back to 2020. Week 17. How many picks did he throw against the Bills?
Dude,
3?
You really,
4?
You really are a character.
It was 3 or 4, right?
Like something out of a movie.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that the same thing that happened last year versus the Titans?
Unfortunately.
Bad weather and the rain, and Tua he just couldn't throw in the rain.
You know what? Maybe if they practiced that, Mike Gesicki aired out the. I'm not even.
So Tua's never thrown a ball in the rain before.
That's it's a bad excuse.
And it's in Miami where it rains a lot. It's just ugly.
No, but yeah, Tua has the most pressure this year, without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. Like, he might not be on he might not be on the Dolphins roster next year if he doesn't have a good season.
And real quick, I didn't mention Zach just because he is under pressure, but he's under pressure to win like 7-8 games. He's not under pressure to like make the playoffs, go on a playoff run.
I agree.
You know, like he needs to take a step forward. We saw the arm talent there. They need to be competitive. They don't necessarily need to win a bunch of games while these other guys do.
Yeah. To reiterate, round table, 5 through 1.
All right. So my number 5 quarterback, most under pressure, Justin Herbert. Number 4, Zach Wilson. Number 3, K1, Kyler Murray. Number 2, my guy, my franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson. And number 1, Tua Tagovailoa.
I don't know why I was waiting for Tua after you said my franchise, my guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Understandably. Justifiable.
Go back and forth.
It's my guy.
My number 5 quarterback under the most pressure is Dak Prescott. My number 4 is Kyler Murray. And my number 3 is Jalen Hurts. My number 2 is the Super Bowl potential champion Indianapolis Colts quarterback Matt Ryan. And number 1 is Tua.
Number 5 for me. When we talk about quarterbacks under the most pressure, Ryan Tannehill could lose his starting job this year and never get one again if he doesn't have a great season this upcoming year. So he's 5. 4, Zach Wilson. Jets have put him in a position to succeed. He has to show signs that he can be a franchise guy. Number 3, Russell Wilson. Broncos have Super Bowl expectations. The last 2 quarterbacks in Tom Brady and Stafford to change teams won it. Russell Wilson has that pressure. Number 2, Justin Herbert has to make the playoffs, without a doubt. Chargers, you can say, arguably have a top 5 roster. When you just talk about names on it, big-time names, Herbert has to get to the playoffs. Number 1, it's Tua. I mean, if he doesn't have a good season this year, he's not even on the Dolphins roster next season. So those are the top 5 quarterbacks under the most pressure. Now on to the next segment. Talking about Tua, we all had him as number 1. Number 1 quarterback under the most pressure. And Zach Wilson, while he made our list, he didn't make yours. But which one of these 2 AFC East quarterbacks will have the better year? I'm just curious.
I'm assuming you're going to start with me.
Your answer.
So, you know what? 100%, no doubt in my mind, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I went on this whole tangent about how Tua is under the most pressure in the NFL. And yes, 100%, that's true. There's a reason why all 3 of us had him as the number 1 most pressured quarterback. Now, with the addition of Tyreek Hill, a top 5 receiver in the NFL at the absolute minimum, with the addition of Cedric Wilson, add to that wide receiver room, one that definitely needed help last season, and you have Jalen Waddle, who's one of the most exciting wide receivers in the NFL, young wide receivers in the NFL, I should say. You have arguably the best duo at the wide receiver position in the NFL. Now you bring in Mike McDaniels, someone who's a competent offensive play caller. You give him somewhat of a run game. Who knows? They should be serviceable. Chase Edmonds, when he was in Arizona, he definitely had success, whether it was on the ground or through the air. Raheem Mostert, when he's healthy, has shown that he is an exciting running back, but that's always been the question. And Sony Michel, now he has depth. He was a part of a bottom 3 rush offense last year, and now he gets this plethora of options at the running back position. You add to this offensive line that was arguably one of the worst I've seen in my entire life. You add Teron Armstead, the number 1 available free agent at the left tackle position. You add Connor Williams on a team-friendly contract, one that the Dolphins were able to get because he was so penalized last season. You only pay him 2 years, $24 million, around that, I believe, off the top of my head. Robert Hunt, who, like I mentioned earlier, was the lone offensive lineman that they had that was serviceable. And by the grace of God, Jesse Davis is off the team. That might be the biggest part of the Dolphins offseason because of how atrocious he was. Now he's off the team. You get that bad aura out of there. Tua's going to thrive. I have no doubt about this, and this is no disrespect to Zach Wilson. It's just the position that I'm being put in right now. I believe that the weapons that Tua has at his disposal is better than Zach Wilson's. I believe that Tua has a better offensive play caller, and I think that we're finally going to have Tua's arm unleashed, where the rumors and the jabs that he can't throw the ball deeper than 10 yards is going to be put to bed, because now he has an offensive line that can give him time, that can protect him, that are going to allow him these opportunities to throw the ball downfield more. And again, we can't gloss over the fact that he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL as well. I think he's going to thrive. I have his stat line actually.
I was actually going to ask you, what's the stat line?
I have 4,100 yards. I have 33 total touchdowns, 28 passing, 5 rushing, 8 interceptions.
Wow.
Sorry, run that back.
I have 4,100 yards. I have 33 touchdowns total, 28 passing, 5 rushing, 8 interceptions.
Tua will be lucky if he gets over 3,500 yards this year passing. I'd say maybe like 26 touchdowns passing. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh my God. 3,500 yards, but he's going to throw for 26 touchdowns.
To say Mike McDaniel is a better play caller than Mike LaFleur.
Oh, wow. He showed me so much last year.
Well, teams were actually stealing from the Jets playbook, actually. Teams were stealing our concepts.
Stuff that they were doing with their wide receivers, not part of Zach Wilson.
What do you mean?
Braxton Berrios, the little shovel pass, is that what you're talking about? That little cute.
Oh, yeah.
The jet sweep.
A lot of teams
that doesn't have to do with Zach.
Why would it have to do with Zach?
Just exactly my point.
I don't know what your point is.
My point is, it's not Zach Wilson oriented.
Yeah, it is. It's a slant. It's a slant that gets tossed back. No, it's not a jet sweep. It's a slant. It's a slant. You pass the slant, and then the guy who catches the slant
Braxton Berrios threw the ball like 10 yards, or Crowder threw the ball like 10 yards.
Joe, can you help in this conversation?
Sorry, go ahead.
He thinks the play that teams steal from Mike LaFleur is a jet sweep.
It's like your jet sweep plays.
You're saying the throw he had,
the pass back.
It's a slant.
No, it was a slant, then a lateral across the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a jet sweep. It's a slant.
Okay.
So, that's a pass.
Again, wide receiver oriented.
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Like, the quarterback has to complete the slant, which isn't a hard pass.
No, I understand.
By any means, but, I think Mike LaFleur is a better play caller. I think Robert Saleh. Mike McDaniel, Robert Saleh has probably went against Mike McDaniel so many times that he already knows what to expect, and vice versa. I'll say the same thing.
For sure.
But the Jets have a better offensive line. Their tight end group is better all around.
Gesicki still
CJ
clears.
Uzama,
He clears.
Tyler Conklin,
He clears.
Jeremy Ruckert, who some have as the best tight end in this draft. He was just underutilized in Ohio State. We have the better running back room. We have the better quarterback. The Jets will be better than the Dolphins this year too. There's no doubt about that. We'll finish 9-8. The Dolphins will finish 8-9, right behind us, just a tick below, but they'll finish there.
You don't even believe that.
You know what I do believe? I believe that Tua is not the starting quarterback for the Dolphins next season. That's what I believe.
Okay.
I believe this is the year that
laughing. That's it. Automatically throw whatever he's saying out of the window.
He won't make the playoffs. That's for one.
Okay.
He won't make the playoffs.
Okay.
And two, by the midway point of the season, people might be saying, Tua really can't get these guys the ball. Where was that trainer that was talking about he's back to Bama Tua? Is this how he looks like? Was he being correct? Tua have a decent season. But I think after the season, the Dolphins should be looking for a replacement. Where the Jets, after this season, there will be a lot of optimism, a lot of room for Zach is really the man.
I wish I didn't like Zach Wilson. I really wish I didn't like him.
Listen, I give you a lot of props because it would be hard for me to like the opposing. You know what I'm saying?
Solely because you are not. Well, honestly, you're really teetering. Also, you're teetering. You're teetering. Why? I'm not saying you're full blown, but again, he's not subtle. You are subtle, and it's starting to piss me off. But we'll see, because you know what? I still like Zach Wilson. I believe he has promise. But go ahead.
This is a hard question because I think statistically, there's a pretty good chance Tua puts up better numbers. I think numbers-wise, yards, touchdown reception ratio, completion percentage-wise, I think there's a really good chance that Tua is going to be putting up better numbers.
He has better weapons for sure. He should do it.
He does, but Zach has really good weapons too.
Jalen Waddle,
And
most
Tyreek,
receptions for a rookie in NFL history. Tyreek Hill, bona fide number 1 wide receiver, top 5 receiver in the league.
but I'm not giving Zach a pass with Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis,
But
tight end room.
we have
Breece
weapons,
Hall.
but we don't have those weapons.
No, but
that's
we
what I'm
have
saying.
we have
weapons.
more than enough. for
There's a
Zach.
gap, though.
Yes, but not a huge gap.
No, I mean, yeah, Zach Wilson has to have a good
And
season.
you're saying that the Dolphins are going to go 8-9.
The Dolphins have to have Zach Wilson has to have a good season, but those receivers are better than ours by a landslide.
I'm pretty not like of what I'm understanding. You didn't come anywhere near that. All you're simply saying, which is what I believe as well, Jets don't have scrubs.
Oh hell no!
Not by any means.
Hell no. We have great. This is the best wide receiver.
Elijah Moore has insane promise.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson was
number 10 overall pick,
majority
wide
of
receiver
people's
1.
wide receiver ones.
Corey Davis,
and
the
Braxton
vet.
Berrios as your
Yeah.
wide receiver 4, who Zach Wilson had his most success
and
with.
3 legit options at tight end.
Breece Hall
Best running
and
back in the
Michael
draft.
Carter.
Yeah,
Not like it,
there's
but
no
it
excuses.
is a lot of rookies though that we're counting on.
And
second-year players.
Rookie running backs perform almost right away. I have
Agreed.
no worry about
Agreed.
Breece Hall. And we're talking about Garrett Wilson, who over the last few years, rookie wide receivers
Show
come in
out.
and also produce right away, like Jalen Waddle.
If you're like that, you perform. And Garrett Wilson, there's
It's like that.
no reason
I'm
not to
just
believe.
saying, there's a landslide between the Dolphins receivers and ours.
I agree. It's strong.
Yeah,
But I agree. You have the weapons. There's no excuse for Zach.
No, for
There's
sure.
a reason why he was in all of our most pressured quarterbacks because there's no excuse. You have the
No,
weapons.
he has to play well for sure. But Tua, if we're talking about the offensive personnel, he should have better numbers than Zach Wilson. And if he doesn't, it's a travesty.
So then what was everything you're saying here that Zach was going to play better even though you believe that he should have better numbers?
No, I think Zach will play better, but Tua should have better numbers than Zach.
I see it. This is 50-50 on the fence thing. I don't like. It's like he should have this, right? He should have it, but even he's not going to be on the team next year.
Well, Tua's playing for his job.
It's Joel's turn to speak.
he has a point though, because that's where I was going to go with this. Where
Okay.
I think Tua is going to put up better numbers than Zach, but again, the eye test thing, the throws and the way Zach's going to be maneuvering throughout the pocket, outside the pocket, all platform throw is stuff that NFL front offices and teams and coaches want to see. I think Zach's going to have more of that to give more long-term promise for the Jets and him as the franchise quarterback. While
you know, at a lot of that also, Drew Lock. You see how that turned out, right? I'm
he
just saying.
just has a strong arm.
I'm just saying we see.
Decision making goes into
He's
that.
not
too.
an all.
I didn't
you.
know
off
that.
platform
I am
throws
with
aren't
you.
there for him the same way for Zach.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
why, again, I'm a
Chris
fan of Zach.
Sims actually was talking about Zach, and he said a lot of the NFL guys that he knows that when they went to the Jaguars versus Jets game, and they saw Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson both practice, the ball just came out of Zach Wilson's hands differently.
Yeah,
There was something about it.
He has
like
beautiful form.
He's got a nice stroke.
Yeah.
For sure.
it was just something about Zach Wilson that he's
Just
different.
a little different.
He's
Yeah,
different.
for sure. But just to wrap it up, I guess, because I agree with what you guys are saying, where Tua should have better numbers, touchdown, interception, completion percentage, like the raw numbers should be there for Tua because he's had an extra year in the league. Overall, he just makes easier throws than Zach Wilson, right? He had the lowest air yards per attempt last year. And listen, I'm not saying whatever you want to call it, but Mike McDaniel's offense, so did San Francisco, who had a great offensive line. They also did not throw the ball down the field a ton. A lot of the stuff was underneath, and maybe that was because of Jimmy Garoppolo, because once Trey Lance came in, his 2 starts, his average depth of target was the highest in the NFL. So maybe is it the quarterback, is it the system? But I do think overall it's going to be some easier throws, and that's not a bad thing because Tua, in the sense, or at least Zach Wilson in the sense, is going to be taking more shots. He just has more, I think, faith in his arm and his ability to make tight window throws where Tua is going to say, you know what, I'll just take this check down. I'll take that 5-yard play and we'll go on to the next one where Zach has to find a better balance of that. But I just think overall, the future of both of these teams, the future of both of these quarterbacks at the end of next season, we're going to be thinking much more higher of Zach than Tua.
I'm sure. See, you guys are looking at me because you guys want a reaction.
No, I'm just
No. I understand because you finished. You finished speaking. Joel immediately looks at me.
Well, because we go around you went first, he went second,
again,
I went third.
we've been
go
going
first.
back and forth, and I understand that you guys want this huge reaction from me, but I'm done trying to convince
I know your
you guys.
reaction. I
No,
don't
I'm
need a
just done
reaction.
trying to convince you guys because it's just going to be that much sweeter when Tua comes week 1 and just shows everything that
Who's
I've
their
been
week 1
telling
opponent?
you guys. Patriots.
Nice.
You couldn't have asked for any better.
Beat him twice last year.
Trust me, I am as cool as the other side of the pillow when it comes to Tua. I really don't. I'm not stressing. I know he's going to be really, really good.
Really?
Damn good.
Pro Bowl?
Hey, Mac Jones made it last year. Anything's possible.
All pro?
No. Too many greats.
I
Matthew Stafford wasn't even consideration for that,
He didn't make the Pro Bowl either.
which is egregious.
Yeah, he had a stupid year.
But I'm telling you, I have you guys are really trying to amp me up. I'm cool.
No,
I'm cool.
I think we have honest opinions of Zach and Tua.
Of Zach, I'm with you guys. Of Tua, I don't know.
I don't have an agenda against Tua.
I don't know.
You think I have an agenda against Tua?
Listen, man. Twitter tells me otherwise with these clips are getting out of hand.
He has the best highlight film in May of all time. That's a compliment.
I really, hand to God, I could come over this table and smack the dog shit out of you. I could.
It was a great tweet.
It was funny. I kind of laughed, but at the same time, unnecessary.
Because, bro, they put out tape every single day of him throwing.
And how much traction did it get when he had one bad throw?
I know, but just
it was an underthrow. Severely underthrown.
Severely? Do you understand what that word means?
Tyreek Hill had to stop and get back to
No, it's not.
Bro, he stopped and squared up like this, and it was a fair catch.
That's not true. He kind of caught it like this.
Bro,
while
I'll be honest, he was squared to the quarterback.
That's not
he was like
true.
this.
This is fake news.
Bro, we could find
I've
the screenshot.
seen it multiple times. It's like this. He's catching it while he's running sideways. Again, it's not the best
So
clip.
if a corner isn't hip to hip with him, that's not getting.
It's Tyreek Hill. Who's going to be really hip to hip with him?
No, I know.
Unless he's in double coverage.
I know what you're saying. But it was underthrown.
It was slightly underthrown, I do agree. Severely? Now we want to get into semantics?
Severely? Yes.
Incorrect.
Still. Yeah. Tyreek Hill had to come back to that ball.
No, he did not. He was running, and he caught it sideways.
On to our AFC West predictions. Each show, we are going to talk about a division, and this one is AFC West. So on to AFC West record predictions. We can start off with the Chiefs.
Let's do it. I like it a lot.
So Kansas City Chiefs, they were the best team in the AFC West last season. What are you expecting out of the Chiefs this season? Me personally, I think they're going to be 11-6. I don't see them winning the division. I think they'll come in second, third place. Depends on who owns a tiebreaker between the Broncos and Chiefs. But they're 11-6 in my opinion. You look at this schedule. To begin, it is pretty tough. You have the Cardinals week 1, but I think they win that game. There's no D-Hop. Week 2 versus the Chargers, since it's at home, I think they win. At the Colts, it depends on how good the Chiefs' run defense is this year. Do I trust George Karlaftis, a rookie? Do I trust these guys? Not too much.
Chris Jones.
Yeah, I trust him. Yeah, you're right. I think they lose that game, so I see 2-1. At Tampa Bay, 2-2. Raiders, Buffalo. I think they beat the Raiders. They lose to Buffalo. So that is 3-3. At San Fran, I think they beat San Fran, 4-3. They have the bye week. Then off the bye week facing Tennessee, I think this is where it gets slightly easier. Tennessee and Jacksonville, they beat both those teams. So the record I'm at right now, I believe, is 6-4, right? If I'm not mistaken.
You had You had them 4-3 at the bye week.
Yeah, 4-3. So
yes.
6-3 versus the Chargers. Week 11, I think it's a loss. So 6-4 versus the Rams. Loss 6-5. I think they beat Cincinnati. So 7-5. I think they lose to Denver. 7-6. They beat Houston and Seattle. So that's 9-6. They beat Denver 11-6, and I think they could drop this game on the road week 18 versus the Las Vegas Raiders, which would make them 11-6. But if they do beat them, then they're 12-5. So I have them around that area.
I'll go next just because we have similar views and you might have a different view than us.
Maybe.
I also have them at 11-6. Going into this, I was kind of expecting. I thought the Chiefs had a chance to win the division, but they have the hardest schedule in the NFL.
That schedule is tough.
You know, they're playing out of division, like outside. First of all, the division's ridiculous, but this is for all of these teams. But they're non-divisional games, like at Arizona week 1. I think they win, but it's a tough game. You have at Indy again. I think they'll win, but on the road. Tampa Bay is an L for me. Buffalo, like they have a lot of games. The Rams that are tough. I'm not going to go through every one because Joel just did it, but I have them also at 11-6, coming third in the division. They're L's for me. Week 4 at Tampa Bay. That's a really hard play to place. You know, Tampa Bay still has one of the best rosters in the NFL. Week 6 against Buffalo. I think Buffalo gets their revenge. I think they're due for a win against Kansas City. Week 6, still early on in the regular season. And then weeks 11 and 12 back-to-back. I have them splitting overall the division. So at the Chargers, that's one of their L's. And then at home against the Rams, I think they'll lose that game as well. Their last 2 losses coming week 14 at Denver and week 18 at Vegas.
All right, so I hear you guys, and I understand Kansas City. You got to trust them. You got to trust Patrick Mahomes. You got to trust Andy Reid, and you have to trust Travis Kelce. But there's one person that I didn't mention that's no longer a part of this equation, and that's Tyreek Hill, who has been the epitome of the big play for Kansas City. When you need a play to save you, when in doubt, Tyreek Hill, right? That's just usually how it goes. We saw it against the Bills. Tyreek Hill absolutely saved their season. He's been amazing for them throughout his tenure there in Kansas City, but now he's on the Dolphins. And you look at this wide receiver room, and I'm allowed to have my concerns with Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, MVS, and now you add Sky Moore, now who you just drafted in the second round, who definitely has some good promise to him. How could I forget? Justin Ross, who, as long as he can stay on the field and he has that opportunity, I do believe that Justin Ross can have success. Justin Ross, when he was healthy and when he was getting going over in Clemson, was one of the highest touted wide receivers for his year that he was going to be drafted, but then he had a terrible, gruesome injury where he broke his neck. Then it really dropped his draft stock, and now he lands in the best situation possible with the Chiefs. He easily could be their best rookie wide receiver, in my opinion, so long he can stay on the field. But until that can happen, go ahead.
Apparently only 4 teams cleared him medically.
Chiefs being one of them.
Yep.
Wow. Well, 4, I mean, that's better than 0.
That's it.
Right? It's better than just the Chiefs. So, you'll take that with a grain of salt. And he's already out there getting throws, practicing a little bit, and you love to see that. But I'm differing from you guys because I understand that Patrick Mahomes is this all-world quarterback. And, yes, we all have him as the number 2 quarterback, 1A, 1B to Josh Allen. But I do have my worries about this wide receiver group. And it could impact some games. And now with the loss of Charvarius Ward, yes, you add Trent McDuffie, but it's hard for me, like you already mentioned with George Karlaftis. I don't know if I can immediately trust that Trent McDuffie is going to come in and be the shutdown corner. No Tyrann Mathieu also. This team took some hits. So I'm going to go through my schedule weeks 1 through 18, and we'll see where we have a difference of opinion. I actually have them dropping week 1 to the Cardinals. I understand no D-Hop. It's going to be this huge surprise. Kyler Murray in Arizona, going to be a little bit amped up, has a lot to prove this season, as I already mentioned earlier in the show. I think the Cards do take that game from them, so it's going to start the season 0-1. They're going to beat the Chargers in KC, excuse me. I have them losing to the Colts. That's going to be a surprise loss for them. Colts, again, Joel has spoken about them a plethora of times. They're a new team this year now with Matt Ryan, have more weapons on the outside added to that defense. They're going to be a solid team. I have them dropping to the Colts. Had them losing to the Bucs, so starting the season 1-3. Beating the Raiders in Kansas City 2-3. Lost to the Bills 2-4. Win against the Niners. That's 3-4 going into the bye. Now I have them going back-to-back against the Titans and Jags. That's going to be 5-4, I believe.
Yep, that's 5-4.
Going against the Chargers and the Rams, I have them dropping both of those games. So that's going to be 5-6. Have them beating the Bengals as they've lost their previous games to the Bengals, both of them, one in devastating fashion in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game. I think they'd get their revenge. Looking at 6-6. Next week against Denver, this is a game that Denver needs to win. Hasn't beaten Patrick Mahomes since he's been in the NFL. 0-8 against Patrick Mahomes. I think we finally get our W against him. That's 6-7. A win against Houston, a win against the Seahawks. I do have them beating us in Kansas City. Now I've lost track of myself. I believe that's going to be, 7-7, 8-7, 9-7. And then, yes, week 18, I do have them losing to the Raiders, giving them a record of 9-8.
So you don't think they make the playoffs?
Now,
that's gonna be hard.
9-8, for me personally, the only reason why 9-8 is going to be hard is because I have them losing to the Cardinals and I have them losing to the Colts.
Raiders, you guys were 10-7 last year?
Yep.
Right? They were the last spot?
No,
they won. They won the division.
The Steelers were the last spot.
Yeah.
They didn't. The Raiders didn't win the division. They
second place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they had the 6th seed. Steelers were the 7th seed.
Yeah,
I believe the Steelers were 9-7.
9-8. Okay.
So there's a chance that they could make the playoffs still, but that's where I have them right here. Excuse me, 9-8. Yes, like you said, there's a chance they do make the playoffs for sure. I mean, they're Kansas City, but right now this is where I have them. They had some strong hits to their team, and
Go ahead.
But yes, I like we can look at it like, oh, I'm not the hugest Chiefs supporter, but I'm just speaking what I really see. They have hits on defense at the wide receiver position. They're not deep at all.
No, and then you got to think because. What team is going to take their place? We were expecting the Bills to win the division, so Miami, and then in the AFC North, Ravens, Bengals, Steelers,
depending on what happens.
Yeah,
for sure.
So like, do one of those AFC North teams get in over or Miami? No, it's going to be a dogfight.
I'm with you.
I don't think the hits were that big, in my opinion. Like I think Tyrann Mathieu, there were times in the season where he just took plays off.
Tyrann Mathieu's a big loss.
And he didn't make tackles. He's
a leader in the locker room.
He's a big loss.
He took plays off, though. He took plays off.
I mean,
Charvarius Ward,
He's probably
that's a loss.
Second most important player on defense.
Charvarius Ward was a loss, but I think Trent McDuffie will be better than him.
Maybe in year one, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe not right away, but
it wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me either if he's better
in year
than
one.
Him. Yeah.
Charvarius was a difference maker for them last year.
Trent McDuffie is different.
We're gonna see. We don't
different.
know that.
And Tyreek is massive.
Tyreek Hill, I honestly don't think it's that massive of a loss. Personally,
okay. Explain.
You look at Mahomes' stats without Tyreek Hill. One, he's won those games. He's still averaged over 300 yards passing.
What's that sample size? How many games?
It's like 3-4 games.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mahomes has won those games. His touchdown to interception ratio has been phenomenal. I think the offense is going to change. I do. I think they saw last year defenses started to catch up. They started to give the Chiefs more two-eye looks, which neutralized Tyreek Hill, and they said this way is not going to work offensively anymore. So I think getting Juju, getting a guy like Sky Moore, they're going to be a much more short to intermediate team when it comes to the passing game. And they're just going to keep drives alive in chunks. They're not going to have those bombs, but they're just going to keep the chains moving.
And one more thing I want to comment on is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We need to see something now. You have come in and you were the first running back taken over Jonathan Taylor, which we've easily recognized that was a giant mistake. Imagine Jonathan Taylor on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Scary.
Thank the good Lord that didn't happen. But now you got to do something because now there's been so much expectation put on your shoulders, and you just underwhelmed tremendously up until this point. You're going to have a lot of opportunity, and you're put behind a fantastic offensive line. Give me some results.
I think Clyde's in a good spot. They brought in Ronald Jones, and I think
that's not going to be beneficial to him.
But I think it's good because he could be more used in the pass game where like
Clyde.
he excelled. Yeah,
I'm
where he
with you.
excelled at LSU.
I agree.
So maybe taking some of those carries away, giving them to Ronald Jones, and have Clyde more involved in the passing game on those third downs.
That makes sense. I like that because Ronald Jones isn't a pass catcher, no doubt. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a history, at least in college, that he can do so. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So maybe the rushing numbers aren't there, but efficiency wise, maybe he improves.
The Raiders were the second team in the AFC West. They finished with a 10-7 record. Now, what do you think they'll be this year? They added Devontae Adams, Demarcus Robinson, Chandler Jones, Jayon Brown. They lost Casey Hayward, so that's a hit to their secondary. But instead of doing it how we did it with the Chiefs, let me just run by this schedule, and you guys just tell me your winner and loser for it.
Okay, that sounds better. A little bit more organized also.
Week 1, Chargers.
I have them losing because it's going to be in LA.
Yeah, L as well.
So that's 0-1 versus Arizona Week 2 matchup.
Believe it or not, I also have this as a loss. I think the Cardinals come out 2-0 against some solid teams.
At home, their home opener without Hop, I have them winning.
Yeah, I think they win this game without Hopkins. That's a huge loss. Week 3 at Tennessee.
I have them winning.
I think it's going to be a tough game. Their defense wasn't great last year. I think at Tennessee early in the season, Derrick Henry's still fresh. I have them losing.
I have them beating Tennessee, so I would have them starting off 2-1. Now versus Denver at home.
I have Denver actually winning this game.
They'll split, so they'll win this one at home.
I agree. I have them splitting as well. So at this point, I have them beating Denver and then at Kansas City Week 5.
I have them losing as well.
So Week 6 is their bye week. So this is pretty good because these are some pretty tough opponents, right? Like Tennessee last year, first seed, Chargers, Denver, KC. Arizona's that one, I guess, gimme, you could say, even if you want to say it. So at this point in the year, I would have them at
3-2.
3-2. Yep,
I'm 2-3.
I apologize. I mixed matched my W's and L's with Denver. So yes, I have them with the same record, 3-2.
I'm 2-3.
So now week 7, they face the Houston Texans. I think that's a win.
Yeah, I've been going on a little run here. They beat Houston.
Yep. Next game against the Saints at New Orleans.
I have them beating both Houston and the Saints. Sorry.
I also have them beating the Saints.
I have them losing in New Orleans. Week 9, Jacksonville.
It's a W.
I have them winning as well.
Week 10 is Indianapolis.
I have them winning that game too.
I have them losing, actually.
On the road.
I have them Las Vegas as home in this.
No, it's on. Oh yeah, you're right. It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
I have them losing this game, given the fact that this was one of the Colts' bigger losses, especially if they win that game. They clinch themselves into the playoffs. I think it's a little bit of a revenge game, and the Colts win this game.
I think they win this game just because I don't trust the Raiders' run defense at all, and their corner. And even against also I picked the Saints to beat them because the Raiders don't have corners.
Oh, you have the Saints beating. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the Saints beating them. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Then week 11 at Denver.
I have them losing to Denver here.
So no.
Okay. Week 12 against Seattle.
Win.
W.
Week 13 versus the Chargers.
I have this
W.
as a
It's
win.
split.
Week 14 at the Rams.
I have this as a loss.
Week 15 versus the Patriots.
It's a tough game because you got the Josh McDaniels versus Bill Belichick,
True.
coming back.
True.
I think Raiders win this game.
I didn't take that into account.
I have the Raiders winning it too just because I'm low on New England. Their weapons aren't there. I think their defense is going to be great. Like personnel-wise, they don't really have a good team.
I wish you didn't tell me that because I do have a win here. But it makes sense, especially because of how smart Belichick is and the history that he has of going against his old guys. But I'm going to stick with my initial prediction. I have a win.
At Pittsburgh, week 16.
I have this as a win.
Me too.
Week 17, San Francisco versus San Francisco.
I have this as a win.
I have this as a loss.
I think this is a loss as well. And then week 18 versus Kansas City.
Loss.
I have this as a win.
So on the road.
Jeez.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I keep mixing it up.
That's all right.
Yeah, I have
So,
them
yeah.
dropping both to KC actually.
Okay, wow. Okay, I see.
I have a win here. So to come to a total record of 11-6 for the Raiders.
What about you, Joe?
I have them 9-8.
9-8. I have them 10-7 this year.
Okay, I don't mind.
I have
that.
them 10-7.
I don't mind that. I just think that last year they went 10-7, correct? If I'm not wrong, and they did not have Devontae Adams. Yes, they did lose Casey Hayward, but they bring in Rockison, who is not bad in coverage. He's a solid corner.
He's average
I agree with that.
at best.
I agree with that. His PFF grade was pretty good in coverage. I'll say this: Chandler Jones, a great addition for the team to pair with Max Crosby. It's going to be one of the more dynamic pass rushers in the league, pass rushing duos in the league. So I feel like you add these guys, I don't see how they don't get slightly better. So that's why I have them going 11-6.
Even with the Devontae Adams addition, the schedule is much tougher now.
It's tough.
This is a very tough schedule.
We were getting
The
killed
division
in the
is
comments
tough.
too.
Is tougher too.
We were getting killed in our top 10 power rankings, not having the Raiders in there.
And another thing I want to say, you touched this a little bit. Derek Carr's going to be put in a position where he could be in that MVP conversation. You now have Devontae Adams. You now have Darren Waller, who's been on the team for a while, but now you have this as a trio with Hunter Renfrow now thrown into that mix. There is not really an excuse for Derek Carr not to thrive. We saw it last year where he put up the passing yard totals, and he definitely kept the ball on their side, but the touchdowns weren't there. Now you have Devontae Adams, and that's going to open up the field for guys like Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow. I think that we're going to see Derek Carr elevate his game to now where he has the passing touchdown statistics to match the passing yards, and he's going to have an 11-6 record that's, in my opinion, going to throw him into the MVP conversation.
The offensive line still isn't good though.
Oh, and it was atrocious last year, but even still, Derek Carr found ways to make things happen.
I get it. I get it. But I just think the defense secondary, I don't like it.
Fair.
Their linebackers, I don't like it. Their defensive line, it's Crosby, it's Chandler Jones, and Jones has shown he can get hurt.
You have them 10-7 though, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I have them 10-7.
I feel kind of rude putting them at 9-8.
I do too. And losing both to
Yeah.
KC is nuts.
Maybe I'll give them one
It's not
and give
nuts.
them
Losing
give them 10-7.
I'm not seeing it with KC.
I'm adjusting. 10-7.
10-7. Okay, I respect
So you
that.
have 10-7 as well. So we all have.
So what's the
we
one?
both have the Raiders.
What's
at
the
10-7.
one? Oh, I have them. No, I have them losing to the Cards.
I have them losing at Tennessee.
You have them losing to the Saints. That's what it is.
They
That's
could
our
lose that game.
difference.
They could lose
I
that.
honestly think that they're more likely to lose to the Saints and the Cardinals.
I was New Orleans and at Tennessee. They were losing one of them. I was like, one of them,
you have a loss against the Niners. You have a loss against the Niners.
Yes,
that's the difference because I have them beating the Niners.
Yeah, they can beat the Niners too. The Niners don't have much of a secondary, so that could be a win for them.
I got to see Trey Lance right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I do believe in his ceiling, but I'm not sure right now.
Yeah, so I have them at 10-7. I think 3 teams in it. All 4 can make the playoffs. Personally,
plus 2,000 on DK.
Yeah, all these teams can make the playoffs in my opinion. On to the next team, the Los Angeles Chargers, predicting their record. Now they added Gerald Everett, Zion Johnson through the draft, Sebastian Joseph Day, Khalil Mack, Troy Reader, Kyle Van Noy, J.C. Jackson, Bryce Callahan.
Some dogs.
They lost
Jordan Davis also through the draft.
They lost Nwosu to the Seahawks, Linval Joseph, Chris Harris, they're free agents, but they picked up a lot of guys. And the Chargers are the team that I think everybody's looking at, and they're going to take that next leap.
Callahan, man.
Jordan Davis
that
went to the
stinks.
Eagles.
I completely forgot about that.
J.C. Jackson, Callahan,
I
Asante
forgot about
Samuel,
that.
Michael Davis.
Davis went to the Eagles.
Derwin James, as long as he stays healthy, this secondary unit's going to be nuts.
I think it's Davis who?
Jordan Davis went to the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. I apologize. I thought he did get. I apologize.
Yeah, their round one pick was Zion.
I apologize.
Yeah, it was
Excuse
Zion
me.
Johnson.
Sorry.
So going through their schedule, I don't know if I really have to go 1 through 18.
We could just talk about the losses.
Now, I have a question.
Because this schedule's a bit different in how it's formatted, in my opinion.
Do you have them going undefeated to the bye week?
No.
No, I don't.
I have them going undefeated into the bye week.
I think they lose to
they're at
KC
Kansas
week
City
2. Yeah, I think they lose.
I have them
game.
beating Kansas City twice.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the case, then yeah, I see why you have them undefeated.
I have them beating the Raiders, beating the Chiefs, beating the Jags, beating the Texans, beating the Browns, beating the Broncos, beating the Seahawks.
I have them 6-1 going to the bye week.
Okay.
KC will be
KC's the loss?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have them 6-1 as well.
Okay.
And it could be 5-2 because by that time Deshaun Watson should be back in Cleveland.
Week 5, bro. I don't know.
They said the report, or at least what I read on Twitter, was that it's a 4-week suspension.
That seems pretty low. I think it's gonna be more than that. But
so if it is more than that, then yeah, there's a very good chance they can go into the bye week 6-1, 5-2.
If Deshaun only gets 4 games,
what if they lose to Denver? They can lose to Denver. You never know. So it's a bit weird how it's formatted because they have tough games in division, always tough. The Niners, Dolphins, Colts, Rams, in my opinion, are tough teams, but they have a lot of gimmies. The Jaguars, Browns with no Deshaun, Texans, Falcons, Seahawks are 5 games, and the stretch of games they have early in the season is the Jags, at Texans, at Browns, versus Broncos, versus Seahawks, at Falcons. Starting the season off 6-1, going into Atlanta off the bye week, that's 7-1. They can beat San Fran versus KC at home, at Arizona. The Chargers, to me, have a legit shot at being the best team in the AFC. I think they'll finish 12-5. I have Buffalo as my number 1 team, record-wise as well. I have them finishing 12-5, but this schedule, it's very easy to start the season.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they will get the biggest head start.
Understandably, listen, like I said, I have them going undefeated into their bye week. I have them beating the Falcons, but then I have them dropping 2. Do I have them dropping 2? I made a mistake in my rankings right now. So the Chiefs is at Kansas City week 2.
Week 2 at Kansas City.
Okay, so I did account for this. Interesting.
I'm struggling with this home away thing.
Yeah, man, I really am. I thought I had it under wraps.
I just feel like you look at the Chargers, the schedule starts getting tough for week 10 on. You have at San Francisco versus KC, at Arizona, which they would have D-Hop back at that time.
No, I am
at Las Vegas versus Miami.
You have 12-5. What do you have?
I have them 12-5.
I have them 12-5 too. My 5 losses: week 2 at KC, week 12 at Arizona. I think that's just a game they're going to drop. Week 13 at Vegas, and then week 17 and 18 versus the Rams and at Denver. My 5 losses.
I apologize. I'm a fool. I did have them dropping 1 to the Chiefs early on because I had them as a loss later on. I didn't even see. So I have them losing to the Chiefs week 2. I have them losing to the Niners after playing the Falcons. I want to say that's week 10. Excuse me. I have them dropping a game to the Dolphins. I have them dropping a game to the Rams, and I have them dropping a game to the Broncos.
I have them splitting the division, so that's 3 losses. And then I have them losing against the Rams in Indianapolis.
Here comes the biases. The loss against Indy, the loss against the
Not
Miami.
really. I mean, the Chargers last year, they still have to prove that their run defense is legit.
I agree, and that's why I have them losing to the Dolphins.
Well,
with
the
Mike
Dolphins
McDaniel.
don't have a run game.
But Mike McDaniel, now I'm assuming that he's going to incorporate his
scheme.
Thank you very much against the.
That's a bit different though, because the offensive line is still going to be average at best for Miami.
I mean, I don't know if that's the case. You add Teron Armstead to the mix, Connor Williams as well. Robert Hunt was
Connor
already
Williams
solid.
Is not good.
I disagree with that. Yeah, he was.
He had one of the most
penalties. I agree with that. But that was the first time ever in his career that he struggled with penalties. And just unfortunate that it was in a contract year.
But it's Teron Armstead, then
Connor Williams, and then you have Robert Hunt.
Robert Hunt is average.
He was their best offensive lineman for them last year.
That's not saying much.
For sure. But now that you actually have some support, maybe
you got Armstead.
So I'm saying the center right tackle is still not there.
The right side, including the center, could be upgraded. The left side is pretty solid.
It's definitely firm.
Yeah, you're right.
Got the best second best left tackle.
I apologize for being a mess earlier, boys. My eyes failed me.
What I'm saying is that the Colts, we know they're a top 3 running team.
Yeah.
Rushing team.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you.
The Dolphins, though, they're not.
It's a question
There's
mark.
a big question if they're going to even be a top 15 rushing team next year.
It's a question.
I don't disagree with that projection.
That's why I would have the Colts beating the Chargers in that game.
I think they improved the D-line enough.
Yeah, I think so too, but you never know. Khalil Mack gets hurt. Joey Bosa has gotten hurt before. Really, it's just for the Chargers, it's all about health. Because Derwin James has not been the most durable, even though he had a full year.
Yeah, it was first time in a minute.
Yeah, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, like those are players you have to count on to be healthy. And for the past couple of years, they have had their
Mike
fair
Williams
share
has
of
got
injuries.
banged up.
Exactly. So for the Chargers, it's really mostly about health and whether they can be healthy. On to the last team in the AFC West. They finished with the worst record last year. But people are hoping maybe they finish with a better record, right? At least you are.
I'm not hoping. I'm expecting.
Yeah.
1 seed?
We'll see.
Oh, man. Shot again.
Record prediction. Drew, I'll start off with you because you're going to have the most bias in this. What do you think the Broncos do? Where do they finish? What's the record?
So we have a kind of scattered schedule in the sense of we have some easy matchups, then we get a tough matchup, and I feel like that's throughout the entirety of the season. So I'll just go through it game by game. I have us winning the first 2 games against Seattle and Houston. I have us also beating the Niners. That's one that could go either way, but I do feel like we do have 2 easy matchups. We get a tougher one, at least of what we're expecting right now in the Niners, and that's going to be at home also, so we get that advantage. I do believe that we take that game. I have us losing to Vegas the following week, going 3-1 so far. I have us beating the Colts 4-1. I have us losing to the Chargers because we're in LA, so that is going to be 4-2. I have us beating the Jets and Jacksonville. It's going to be 6-2. Then we hit the bye week. Then I have us going on a great run here. I have us beating Tennessee. I have us beating Vegas. I have us beating Carolina. Baltimore is one of those toss-up games that I do have us winning as well. KC is going to be our first time playing them in the season, and that's when we're going to be playing them in Empower Stadium. I do have us winning that game, finally getting that W against Patrick Mahomes. I have us beating Arizona, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 W's in a row. And then we lose to the Rams, lose to KC in Kansas City. And for the division title in Week 18, I have us beating the Chargers, having a grand total of 13-4.
That last month and a half is tough.
The one game that genuinely I really do believe can go either way is Baltimore.
Did you have you guys beating the Rams?
I don't.
Okay, yeah.
What do you mean legitimately go either way?
That Baltimore team?
Yeah, but like Week 13 onward? That's a tough schedule.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
In the sense
last
of like, oh no, for sure. But I'm saying like of how I see it right now. I have us losing to the Rams. I have us losing to KC in Kansas City. But I do believe we can beat Arizona, and I do believe we can beat Baltimore. But those
you
are
can beat anybody.
We definitely could.
But that schedule is Baltimore, KC, Arizona, LA, the Rams, Chiefs, and then Chargers.
And if we play the type of football that I'm expecting, we should have confidence going into all these games, which is why I feel confident in the sense of we could beat these teams.
So you're 5 L's.
I have 4 L's.
4, sorry.
I have us losing to Vegas in in Las Vegas. I have us losing to the Chargers in LA. I have us losing to the Rams in LA. I have us losing to Kansas City, and that's it.
So just 1 out-of-division loss.
Correct.
I have you guys 12-5, so I have you guys splitting. Those are 3 L's and your 2 out-of-division losses at Baltimore, at the Rams.
See, that's what I'm saying. That Baltimore game really could go either
I need
way.
to find an L for you guys somewhere, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. We really could. We
I
have
agree.
a chance to be that top
You have
seed,
a
but I
chance to be the
don't.
number 1 seed.
But I don't know right now.
You
Between
just have
us
the
and the
Bills
Bills
who've been there.
Correct.
Well, the start of the schedule is very friendly to you. First,
Relatively, yeah.
You look at the first 5 games: Seahawks, Texans, Niners, Raiders, Colts. I think that's 3-2.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, there's some easy games scattered in there, but then you have Vegas. You have the Colts that are going to be challenges. Niners aren't slouches.
Seahawks, Texans.
I'm with you.
Gimme.
That's
1 and
easy.
2 is
That's
layups.
easy.
Yeah.
So I have you guys at 3-2. I think you lose to the Raiders at Vegas, and I think you lose to the Colts too. So
Really?
yeah, I think you lose to the Colts.
They're at home,
Interesting.
too.
Yeah, so 3-2.
The Colts are going into Denver to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Well, they're a Super Bowl contender, so they should.
And then you look at the games after this: Chargers, Jets, Jags, Titans, Raiders, Panthers. That's 5-1 to me. This is what it sounds like, or it could be 5-2. But let's say it's 5-1. That's 8-3, basically heading into the second part of the schedule, the toughest part of the schedule. And honestly, like, it's really those stretch of games, week 13 through week 18, whether you guys can beat all these top teams. Because outside of Arizona, which I'm not high on, Baltimore is going to be a dogfight. KC twice, Rams, and the Chargers. I think you lose to Baltimore. I think you lose to KC. I think you beat Arizona. You lose to the Rams. You beat KC, and then you lose to the Chargers.
So what's the final record?
That first
The final
KC.
record I have for the Broncos is 11-6.
12-5.
So you have us losing. I apologize. You have us losing to Vegas. You have us losing to the Colts.
I think you split. I think
That's 3, yeah.
I'm having
Are
every
we,
team
are
split.
we
in
losing
this
to the
division.
Chargers twice?
No, you split.
I'll have you split.
Because you had us losing.
But in
Oh, you had them
different,
twice?
I have you split, but in different. I don't know. It really can vary.
So we're gonna be 12-5.
What are the 3 out of division losses? Indy,
Rams,
Indy.
and
You said Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Okay.
So those are the 3 out of division losses.
Yeah, I have you guys beating Indy. That's the difference.
And San Fran's not a cakewalk either.
No,
not.
definitely
San
not.
Fran
It's
can
not.
beat you too.
Listen, we have a relatively tough schedule for sure. There's definitely scattered games here that we should no-brainer win. But as I'm looking at it right now, and as I'm projecting, with Russell Wilson as our quarterback, the weapons that we have, defense that we have, we should be able to have a lot of success.
I just personally don't think this is as complete of a team as everybody's making it out to be.
I think what we are missing is the linebacker.
D-line, E2. The
I think
D-line
edge.
isn't elite.
I think you need edge.
Randy Gregory, and I just can't
That's-
count on Bradley Chubb.
That's
no.
what I'm saying.
So I
and
understand.
Like Gregory's, I'm not.
I understand.
Gregory, he gets double teamed, he'll be taken out the game. I don't
DJ
even know.
Jones also coming in. That's huge for us.
Like the additions, like it's Russell Wilson, then it's DJ Jones,
So
Randy
I
Gregory,
have optimism with DJ Jones.
Alex
Randy Gregory, we'll see.
Singleton.
But yeah, DJ
K'Wan
Jones not
Williams.
numbers guy. You know,
We also
he's-
had, I believe his name's Batonio. That's who we just
That
drafted
was a
in the
rookie, yeah.
second.
Yeah.
But then the
Off the
subtraction,
edge, so-
the subtraction, Shelby Harris, who's been your best interior defensive lineman.
DJ
for
Jones.
years.
That's why I'm not too devastated by
Noah
it. But that's
Fant,
veteran.
Kyle Fuller, Bryce
Adios.
Callahan.
Adios and no offense.
Oh, see ya. Alberto, and we just
But Kyle-
drafted
but
Dulcich.
But Kyle Fuller and Bryce Callahan.
That hurts. And for Callahan to go to the Chargers hurts even worse. Because we already lost Chris Harris to them too, which
Facts.
like I don't understand
Where'd
why.
Kareem Jackson? Oh, he resigned.
He's back to us. Thank God. Never
So
in doubt.
the Broncos need Pat Surtain to really take that next step.
No doubt.
Me too, yeah.
And
No,
then
no, I'm saying
Ronald
I have
Darby
no doubt about that.
and Ronald Darby has to be serviceable.
Which he can easily do.
Yeah.
But your linebackers, I don't like.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's
Defensive
one
line
thing
is
I
just
would have
really
loved
bad.
Yeah,
for
front
us.
seven is
Like
a little sketchy.
Nakobe Dean there in the second round, right? I would not have minded the reach, especially the reach because he has the injury concerns.
That's the thing with me. And we mentioned before, like, although you got Wilson and people talk about the Broncos being a quarterback away, the offensive weapons don't scream elite. They're wait and sees. Cortland Sutton, we know, is good, but he's not elite.
Judy put up 850 his rookie year.
That's
pretty
Jerry
good.
Judy's
That's
a wait
really,
and see.
really good.
Judy's a wait and see, though.
But Judy, his rookie year
We
with
have to
bad
see it.
quarterback play was really
No,
good.
you're right, but we have to see it, though.
I know, but I don't have to wait much.
Can we have
And
we,
Tim
like, we
Patrick's
can project,
good,
right? We
but
can.
he's not great.
He,
He's great.
he loves Tim Patrick.
Tim Patrick's good.
There's a universe where Tim Patrick leads our team in receiving yards.
It's a weird universe, but I guess
There's
it
a
exists.
universe.
It's a weird one.
But that's how great I feel about our weapons. It's like, if that's how I can feel about Tim Patrick as my number 3, I'm sitting pretty.
The reason why you believe that universe exists is because there's parity between your receivers.
And this parity just...
Because there's not a clear-cut elite receiver on your team that you know is going to get target share.
To a degree, like, that's a fair statement to make, but I understand how I see Jerry Jeudy.
Like, T. Higgins will go to the Broncos, and you're like, he's the guy.
But we saw T. Higgins already put up great.
No, I know, but, like, with the Bengals, even though they have T. Higgins, who's great, we know, like, Jamar, he's the guy. That's it. You don't have to question it. With the Broncos, there's a question
but
about
T. Higgins could go to a few teams
it should
and be
be
the guy.
Sutton, but because of that ACL injury, there's a question. It should be Jeudy, but because of what he's done to this point, there's a question.
2 seasons.
Tim Patrick.
I'm putting my money on Jeudy.
No, I can guarantee Judy's our one.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
where my money
No
is.
doubt about that. My point being, another thing that we haven't even mentioned, KJ Hamler, who Russ has taken a liking to. Like they're the ones that I see I see KJ Hamler with Russell Wilson mostly this offseason. That's what it's about to be. He's that deep threat. Yeah. He can stay healthy. Things can get exciting. It really can.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, man.
I'm so hyped.
Should be a good year, man.
I really am.
So to recap our AFC West predictions, if you want to put in a record in there, you can. We could just go through 1 to 4. It doesn't matter. So,
all right.
Based off the new schedule release, AFC West predictions, which team do you have winning the division? Which team comes in last? I'll just start it off. Chargers to me, number 1. Number 2, the Broncos. Number 3, the Chiefs. And number 4, the Raiders. I have the Broncos and the Chiefs having the same record, so we'll see what happens with that tiebreaker. But for now, I have Broncos at 2.
Okay, I know I was a jumbled mess before, but I right now have number 1, Denver Broncos winning the division, adding Russell Wilson. It should be that extra advantage that we haven't had in a long time that's going to boost us to that competitive level where we are actually contending for a Super Bowl. Number 2, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. They got amazing, and you have Justin Herbert. As long as you have that franchise quarterback paired with the defense now that they've tried to rebuild, they should have a lot of success. I have them finishing in 2nd place. Number 3 is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. You add Devontae Adams, Chandler Jones. At a 10-7 record last year, I don't see how they don't at least elevate a little bit. I do have them coming in 3rd and making the playoffs as well with an 11-6 record. And in last place, no slight to them, the Kansas City Chiefs. I had them finishing 9-8. I worry about their receiving core, and I do worry about their defense and their lack of secondary.
Coming in 1st place, I have the Chargers and Broncos both finishing 12-5. I think the Chargers are arguably the most improved team in the NFL. They have a top 5 quarterback. So depending which way that tiebreaker goes, one of these teams will end up in 1st, the other in 2nd. Kansas City in 3rd. Losing Tyreek Hill is going to be huge. Tyrann Mathieu, arguably the best defensive player going to the Saints, is going to be a loss defensively. And last, Las Vegas Raiders at 10-7. They upgraded this year. This division, the teams are just better than them the teams ahead of them are just better, but I still think they could sneak into the wild card.
So that does it for our AFC West predictions. And that's going to do it for episode 180 of the podcast.
Real quick before we end it, what record did you have us?
11-6.
So you had us 10-7, then you gave us one with you made a split with the Chargers?
No, it was always 11-6.
I could have swore you had us losing both games.
No, I have you splitting regardless.
Okay.
Just when the split's going to happen.
I understand.
Because I think if week 18, I know you're home.
Yeah.
But I'm picking the Chargers.
Nah, that's when we win the division.
So I would have you guys just beating the Chargers away and then them getting revenge back and beating you away.
If like the Chargers or Broncos are like a game up on each other, the NFL should just make it like no tiebreaker. Whoever wins that week 18 game just wins the division.
I understand.
It's going to be a lot of room for some primetime games down
4 months away?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's around the corner.
Injected in my veins. I need it now.
So you guys can follow the podcast at Pick a Side Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, at Pick a Side Pod on Twitter. Buy merch at pickasidepodcast.com. Thank you guys for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.